where the spirits dance all night. The Creator gang shines bright, guiding us with all their might. Trumpets sound across the sky as we raise our voices high, praising the one most high under the OAHSPE's watchful eye. We sing songs of love and grace in this sacred space. For the Creator gang we embrace, their wisdom we chase, with trumpets playing in tune under the silvery moon. We dance until the morning sun, this connection never undone. Harmony in every beat, our faith is concrete. Through the pages of the OAHSPE, ancient wisdom on display, teaching us the righteous way, leading us to a brighter day. With each trumpet blast, we're reminded of the past and the love that will ever last in this divine contrast. United in spirit, we uplift and hear it. We sing songs of love and grace in this sacred space. For the Creator gang we embrace, their wisdom we chase, with trumpets playing in tune under the silvery moon. We dance until the morning sun, this connection never undone. We sing songs of love and grace in this sacred space. For the Creator gang we embrace, their wisdom we chase, with trumpets playing in tune under the silvery moon. We dance until the morning sun, this connection never undone.
Yes, family.
Never undone.
You know how we do, family. Yes, I. It's a blood clot vibes. Vibes. Family, we here live and direct. Matter of fact, before I really get started, give me a 1 in the chat if you can hear me clearly. I had to reboot my system, so I don't know if I'm still mic'd up to the correct setting. I could always hear myself on my YouTube. Let me make sure. Give me a 1 in the chat if you can hear me clearly. Just want to make sure the mic is right before the iDren move forward, you know. All right, Aruba, I see you. I see the mic. I see the one coming in. I see the Tikva. Yo, Tikva, I sent out your order this morning, yo. Yeah, you good to go. All right, I'm good. I can hear myself. Yes, I hear myself, so we good to gizzle. What it do, family? Your boy Selah Shalom is in the building. You better turn the F up. You know how we do. You better turn up. Give me that goody. Some of that runty. It's a blood clot vibes, yes, family. But if I roll the big head split, you know. All right, I see the ones chiming in, everything looking good, everything sounding good. Before we get started, let me get you the first break.
Bitter Sweet Herbals, where the taste is bitter, but the results are sweet. BittersweetHerbals.com.
Run the rhythm.
Bitter Sweet Herbals, where the taste is bitter, but the results are sweet. BittersweetHerbals.com.
Yes, family, make sure to get your bitters. As you see, we got a new Creator Gang reggae song. You know what I mean? Had to play that joint before we get started. You're going to be hearing that more often. More Creator Gang music coming soon. You know what I mean? We on all type of levels. We'll let some people chime in, give a chance for more people to chime in before we really get started. You know what I mean? So for now, let me run the rhythm. All right, I see the one chiming in. My little dread like a poke out. Little pick me out there. Yeah, we about to get started. It's a blood clot vibe. Creator Gang music. Yeah, Snoop, I see y'all chiming in. Y'all tell the ops we live. Rob's Yoke in the building. I appreciate you, Kim, for trying to help out before the show started, but we gonna get it next time. You know how we do. It's the vibes. Yes, family, you know what time it is. It's a blood clot vibes. Yes, family, lodge up yourself, big up yourself. It's the hostess with the most, the selected Selah Shalom from the one and twos. You know how we do. It's the vibes. Oh yeah, that ain't nothing. Hey, that's easy work. Hey, I may be doing the California's ugly, so don't be surprised you see me out there in LA. Yeah. So y'all see the topic, y'all see the vibe, y'all see what's going on. You see what we dealing with. We dealing with, yes. See, you know, we did European authorship of the Bible. And the only reason I did that is because Katz was having a difficult time accepting the fact that the OAHSPE was written by a European, a dentist at that, right? Like, that's a bad trade. So they kept making fun of the white boy. They kept clowning, oh, you got this book from a white boy. So I leveled the playing ground, and I did European authorship of the Holy Bible and showed the biasness of these cats. So you should have been complaining about John Blanc Nubro, but I ran through Greek, Latin, and England Europeans who had their hand on Bible. So you can't talk about nothing about the European or John Blanc Nubro being a white boy when you had three different nationalities for over damn near centuries dealing with your so-called Bible, right? Yeah, so the next thing I had to deal with was European authorship of the Tanakh, because then the Hebrews started running their mouth. Oh, you got this book from a white boy, this, that, and the third. Then I had to show them that your Tanakh was compiled and controlled by the Europeans Jews at that. Now, the Bantu Negro from the Congo had anything to do with compiling the Tanakh, upholding Tanakh, or none of that. I showed that. Now, I'm chilling one morning, and I get a call from Malachi Maccabee on my messenger. He's like, yo, Selah. He's like, yo, Selah, why don't you do one about European authorship of the Kemet shit? I'm like, damn, nigga, how the fuck I missed that? I said, that's an excellent idea. So I thought about it, not even 5 minutes. I said, damn, man, that's a good one. That'll complete the trilogy right there. You know, I'll have European authorship of the Holy Bible, European authorship of the Tanakh, and then to top it off with European authorship of Egyptology. Oh, nigga, that's it right there. And then when I finish this video, you can go in the playlist, and then you can watch all three of them, you know what I mean? Like a sequence, like a sequel. Moo Child, what's good? I see you, fam. I see the fam chiming in. Peace to the righteous gods. Jaway, where's your big man? Shoo! Shout out to Jaway. That's my bedroom, them. Soldier that. Nigga Thustra, what's good? Got dreadful Cosma, nigga Thustra. What y'all know about that nigga Thustra? Boy, they don't know nothing about that. Shout out Dreadful Cosma, Messiah King. Aruba, Messiah Sister. What happened to them cook shows? What happened to them cook shows? You still put up them cook shows, but want to see them cook shows, you know. You gotta drop it in the chat when you put them up so we'll know them. We can chime in, yeah? Large up yourself. Large up yourself. Who else we got? We got Snoop. Yeah, I see you, kid. We're gonna be out there in the Cali in a minute. Bron Joe. Elijah 7 in the building. Peace to the righteous God. Mahalia in the building. Salute to the sister in them, yeah? James, what's good, family? I see you, King. I see you. Who else I missed? Bazell in the building. Peace to the righteous God. That song is fire. Yes, I. What do you mean? What do you mean? You know what I mean? We keep the rhythms of going. Create a gang music. You know what I mean? Who else, man? Miss out. Malachi Maccabee in the shadows. LaShonda, what's good, sister? And I see you. CGG for life. CGG for life, my brother. My sister. And everybody in between. Yeah, I'm gonna get this. Give me about another 2 minutes. We're gonna get started. About 15 minutes in. I mean, we're gonna get into this thing. Oh, you hurt your thumb? Yo, get well, sister. Patch up. Heal up. You dig? Yes, sister. See, like, I'm moving. I'm in Toronto now, moving back to Cali in 3 years, but I'll be there. No doubt, son. No doubt. Yeah, so we're going to goddamn chap in a minute. So like I said, you know what I mean? The topic of this discussion, this presentation is called European Authorship of Egyptology by Selah Shalom. And basically what I'm doing is the same thing I did with the other two presentations. I'm showing you how the Europeans fashioned and framed the idea that you have of Egypt today, right? Everything you know about Egypt today comes from the Europeans. Yeah, we built the pyramids. Yeah, we ran the Nile Valley civilization. But what happened during those days, we have no clue. Because there's nobody to really give us the rundown, nor is there a tradition, a lineage to say this is what it is. You see what I'm saying? It was the Europeans doing the archaeological research, the excavation and all of that, who reintroduced a lost civilization. And the reintroduction of this lost civilization, that should stand on their shoulders. So when we say Hotep, when we say Ma'at, when we say all these Kemetic terms, words, you owe it to the white boy. They the ones who deciphered it. You know, Ma'at may not be Ma'at. Hotep may not be Hotep. They broke that down and gave it to us. You reading on the walls because of the works that they laid out. The same way the European Jews upheld Tanakh. So by the time you got it, for you to understand Tanakh, you had to go to them. So I'm showing you whether it's dealing with the Holy Bible, you had to go to the Europeans. Whether if you're dealing with the Tanakh, you had to go to the Europeans. And whether if you're dealing with Egyptology, I'm going to show you had to go to the Europeans. So with that, what Creator Gang is doing is leveling the playing ground, because we came in with Battle of the Holy Books. All we wanted to do was cross-compare information to show that the OAHSPE is a higher light on the block. Just by cross-comparing the Bible, Quran, Committed Text, whatever you stand on book-wise, let the book speak. With that, allowing the books to speak is going to take away the ad hominems between us. I don't have to call you this, and I don't have to call you that, because the information in the book is going to do that for me. So we tried that. Malachi Maccabee had the concept. We brought the shit to Sonetta, and they started ridiculing the OAHSPE. They started saying he's a white boy. He's a this. He's a 33rd degree Mason. They don't even say he's a Mason no more. They stopped that, because we shut that down. I don't really hear that. But they still mad at the fact that he a white boy. So I said, look at the biasness in that. Y'all niggas mad about one white boy who had a spiritual experience and compiled a text, when you had goddamn ages, hundreds of years of white boys translating your text. What you claim is your text. We can't even say it's your text, because we don't have no proof that the Bible was ever in the hands of a black race of people. You know what I mean? Selectively, inclusively to them before it excavated out, or instead of getting out to the rest of the world. So now, Malachi Maccabee said, bring it out. You already know it's coming, God. It's coming. Yeah. So we like, what I like to do as well is level the playing grounds. Anytime somebody try to say, oh, that's the colonizer this and the colonizer that, I showed you how your black ass was the colonizer first. You know what I mean? So if the colonizer is the colonizer, he got it from your ass, because it talks about colonization in the Bible. Mm-hmm. And they came over on these shores with Bible. Yes, I. Scoring of the Black Man Podcast. Peace to the righteous God. What up, man? That's my dude right there. What up, King? For y'all don't know, go ahead and subscribe to the brother right there, Scoring of the Black Man Podcast. That's Hilltop Passport, bro. That's my homie right there doing this thing over there. And then and Cross Seas doing it big. Shout out to the God. I'm going to see you over there. Thailand vibes, you know what I mean? My son told me I'm going to Thailand, so we going to see, King. We going to see, but you don't learn today. You know what I mean? They don't learn today that all the fuss that they gave to the Hebrews, all the fuss they gave to the Christians, now we want to piggyback it off the goddamn Egyptologist cap. So y'all ready to get started? Y'all ready? Let me get started. Let me share my screen. We're going to get this thing popping. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get this thing popping. Let's go. And the beautiful thing is I ain't got to rush. You know what I mean? This is not a debate. I ain't on nobody else's platform. So I could take my time, go as long as I want, spread this shit out. You know what I'm saying? So let's get started. Let me share my screen. All right, let's get busy. I'm going to make the screen full so you ain't got to see me. There it is. There it is. European authorship of Egyptology. Uh-oh, here we go. Yes, sirski. So now, let's get into it. Let's get into it. In this presentation, European authorship of Egyptology, I'm going to show how influential the European races have been when reconstructing the modern idea of Egyptian civilization. I see people getting upset over the OAHSPE Bible and its author, John Newbro, a European dentist from Ohio. So I found that quite biased, knowing that the same European race is responsible for authorship of Egyptology. We're going to compare and contrast and see how influential the European reconstruction of Egypt is today. And that a Bantu Negro from the Congo got nothing to do with authorship of Egyptology. Let's go. First, let's talk about Dionysus right quick. This cat right here is responsible for giving us the timeline with BC and AD, before Christ, after Christ, before Common Era, Common Era. So Dionysus, it says here, the BC AD system was invented by a monk named Dionysus, who was trying to establish a Christian chronology. Before his time, one had to use some system more or less tainted with paganism, such as the AUC system from Rome foundation, or consular dating, the year when X and Y were Roman consuls. By the 6th century of our era, there had been more than 1,000 pairs of consuls, which had to be memorized in order. Dionysus calculated that the year in which he worked was the 533rd since the birth of Christ. So he designated it AD 533. It took some time for Dionysus' scheme to catch on. So this is the same timeline we under today as far as using the before Common Era, before Christ, after the death of Christ, or CE Common Era. Now, let's get into it. Babe, grab me that drink out the fridge for me. Now, some of these names I may stumble over because, you know, some of these Latin and Greek and German names be kind of crazy to pronounce. It's in the fridge. Athanasius Kircher.
I don't see no record.
Hold on, family.
You got it on me?
All right. So check it. Athanasius, 1602 to 1680. Now, he was a German Jesuit scholar. Look at that. Right off the bat, you got a Jesuit scholar. Right? Claimed to have deciphered the hieroglyphs written of the ancient Egyptian language. But most of his assumption and translation in the field turned out to be wrong. He did, however, correctly establish the link between the ancient Egyptians and the Coptic language. He did that. Not a Bantu Negro from the Congo made that connection. Some commentators regard him as what? The founder of Egyptology. Look what it says. He was taught Hebrew by a rabbi in addition to his studies at school. So this white boy right here could speak Hebrew, and he is considered the founder of Egyptology. That don't look like no Bantu Negro from the Congo. Reestablishing us Egyptology, or the study of Egypt. From 1622 to 1624, Kircher was sent to begin his regency period in Koblenz as a teacher. This was followed by assignment to Heiligenstadt, where he taught mathematics, Hebrew, and Syriac. Look at that. These ain't no dumb, I ain't gonna lie, just by looking at the picture, he like some old, regular plantation owner looking. This nigga speaking Hebrew fluently. Syriac, teaching mathematics. Look what it states next. He was ordained to the priesthood in 1628 and became professor of ethics and mathematics at the University of Wurzburg, where he also taught Hebrew. He's teaching it now. He's teaching Hebrew and Syriac. Beginning in 1628, he began to show an interest in Egyptian hieroglyphs. Perhaps Kircher's best known work is Oedipus Egypticus, 1652 to 1554. a vast study of Egyptology and comparative religion. So that's the book he authorized right here. This is his works. This is his, the works he put together while studying Egypt. This is the book he authored. Oedipus Egyptus is an Athanasius Supreme's work of Egyptology. Kircher was the most famous of the decipherers between ancient and modern times, and the most famous Egyptologist of his day. See that? In his Lingua Egypticus Restitut, 1643, Kircher called hieroglyphics this language, Hithro, unknown in Europe, in which there are as many pictures as letters, as many riddles as sounds, in short, as many mazes to be escaped from as mountains to be climbed. While some of his notions are long discredited, portions of his work have been valued to later scholars. And Kircher, or Athanasius, helped pioneer Egyptology as a field of serious study. See that? Ain't no Bantu Negro from the Congo doing that. Kircher's interest in Egypt began in 1628, when he became intrigued by a collection of hieroglyphs in the library at Spira. He learned Coptic in 1633 and published its first grammar in 1636, the Prodromus Coptus Civ Egypticus. So he published a book on grammar back then, in the 1600s. Show me a black Egyptologist publishing grammar back then. I don't give a damn what part of the world. Oh, we was in slavery here in the Americas. Well, show me your Bantu Negro from the Congo doing the works. He on the continent. He closer to the archaeological sites. Where he at? Kircher argued that Coptic preserved the last development of ancient Egyptians. For this, Kircher has been considered the true founder of Egyptology. Because his work was conducted before the discovery of the Rosetta Stone, rendered Egyptian hieroglyphics comprehensible to scholars. He also recognized the relationship between hieratic and hieroglyphic scripts. Look at that. Look at that. He doing this. Ain't no Bantu Negro from the Congo doing this. So all you Egyptian cats speaking about, oh, there's a relationship between the hierarch and you got it from this white boy back in the 1600s. He was doing the work. Egyptologist E.A. Wallace Budge mentioned Kircher as the foremost of writers who pretended to have found the key to the hieroglyphs. See, these niggas beefing and politicking back then about who's doing the correct works or not. And called his translation in Oedipus Egypticus utter nonsense. Look at that. Bulge is like, man, that's some bullcrap. But as they were put forth a learned tongue, many people at the time believed they were correct. See that? You may think the shit is right during your era, but then later scholars come on down the line and look, see your mistakes and your flaws, and be like, yo, that was really nonsense. So all this Egyptian stuff y'all talking today, thinking y'all got it corrected, another 100 years, they're going to be looking at y'all works like, boy, them niggas had it wrong too. So this is Wallace Budge showing how Athanasius' works was off. Although Athanasius' approach to deciphering text was based on a fundamental misconception, some modern commentators have designed Kircher as the pioneer of the serious study of hieroglyphs. See that? So these niggas, Athanasius Kircher is considered the father and founder of Egyptology. Regardless of the mistakes he made, regardless of what he got correct, this European right here is the founder of Egyptology. And he was a Jesuit. He was a goddamn Catholic. And he could speak Hebrew. So you have Hebraic, Catholic, Jesuit influence in your Egyptology. Let's move forward. Jean Barthélemy. Barthélemy, right? Let's go to him. You know what he's famous for? You know he brought to Egyptology? Jean was a French scholar who became the first person to decipher an extinct language. He deciphered the Palmyrene alphabet in 1754 and the Phoenician alphabet in 1758. Look at that. So essentially, he revised the Phoenician or the Hebrew language prior to Eleazar. I found that interesting because it states he was the first to decipher an extinct language. The Hebrew language was extinct at this time. They say Eleazar is the one who revived the Hebrew language in the 1800s, but here it's saying that this dude is the one who deciphered the Phoenician. He deciphered the Phoenician alphabet in 1758. See that? That's why I got the Phoenician up here. But look what also I got. The hell? Right there. Look at that. Look what also I got. These Egyptians cartouche. Watch this. Barthélemy was the first to suggest in volume 5 of the Recula of Count Callias, published in 1762, that the signs in Egyptian cartouches probably represent royal names. This discovery by Barthélemy was acknowledged by Champollion in his Precis. So technically, this is the guy who rendered the fact that there's names inside the cartouche. He did that. So anytime you hear any black Egyptologist nigga talking about the names of the kings were in the cartouche, nigga, you got to give the credit to this white boy right here, Jean Barthélemy. You got to give the credit to him. He was the first to fashion that thought. And Champollion just acknowledged what he was saying. And of course, further research, they made it make sense. So here's another white boy who deciphered the Phoenician language and returned to Paleo-Hebrew, and then suggested that those are names inside the cartouches. Ain't no Bantu. There ain't no Bantu Negro from the Congo right there. Now let's go to this guy, Joseph D. Guignes, 1721-1800. He is recognized for proving that cartouche rings in Egyptian texts contained royal names, a thesis he developed from hint previous made by J.J. Barthélemy. See that? So he's the one who confirmed that, okay, yeah, that's what it is. Those cartouches, those rings in the Egyptian text, those are royal names. And we know the whole cartouches thing that they said it looked like a bullet and all that, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the fact that they discovered that those are names within this ring of circle. You want to call it a cartouche, whatever name you want to call it, because even if you name it as an original Egyptian name, you still piggyback that off of these niggas, because they laid the foundation for you to have something to even play with when it comes to Egyptology. So he is recognized for proving that cartouche rings in Egyptian texts contain royal names. He's responsible for that. Let's move on. George Zoega, George Zoega, 1755-1809. Look at him. What he known for? Look, was a Danish scientist. Look where we at on the map. Dane, a Danish scientist. He was noted for his work as an archaeologist, numismatist, and anthropologist. His work in numismatics led him to take up Egyptological and Coptic studies, which he conducted with success. By his power of penetration and sound judgment, he pointed out to later investigators the path to be followed in interpreting hieroglyphs. In his work of the Rosetta Stone, French linguist and Orientalist Sylvain Dissat, 1758 to 1833, highlighted a suggestion made by Georgine in 1797 that the foreign names in Egyptian hieroglyphs inscriptions might be written phonetically. Let's read that again. The foreign names, like what's some of the foreign names? Asiatic, the Haparu. In Egypt, hieroglyphs inscription might be written phonetically. This proved to be a very fruitful insight which led to decipherment. Look at that. These white boys over here deciphering the language. But ain't no Bantu Negro in the comment ever doing this at this time. And George, look at this, watch this. And George, compilation of a catalog of hieroglyphs, and discovered that the direction of reading depends on the direction in which the glyphs were facing. See that? For example, here's an example. If you notice, all the images of the glyphs from the bird to the humans is all facing in this direction, all facing in one direction. So you know that you got to read the glyphs starting on this side and come down this way. That's what he discovered. So any Bantu Negro in the Congo today who's an Egyptologist talking about you got to read the hieroglyph depending on which direction it flows, came from this nigga George. Came from him. He gave you that. He's the one who said, the hieroglyphs is read like this because the direction everybody faces. Boom, he gave you that. Ain't no Bantu Negro at the Congo gave you that. And the Bantu Negro at the Congo is on the continent, right up the street from where these things are. And this example of reading the hieroglyphs in that manner can be cross-compared to the time of Thor, when man was giving the petroglyphic system of communication. And if you wanted to find out where, let's say, dares was to hunt, they will have a direction of dares going in one way, so you'll know to go that way. So this is the same kind of concept with the hieroglyphics when reading it. Depending on which direction are the objects, whether if it's a person or a bird, a snake, notice all of them are facing in this direction. Look at the bird, this direction. Look at the man or lady, this direction. The lady right here, this direction. Look at the snake, it's pointing in this direction. So you know to read from here, coming right. That's how the story is being conveyed. See that? Now, the white boy gave you that. His work in numismatics led him to take up Egyptology. Okay, we read that. Coming on down. All right. Boom. Samuel. Let's go to Samuel. I'm going to just say, keep these niggas' names short. 1735 to 1811. Now look at this guy. See that? That ain't no Bantu Negro from the Congo. These are the cats that's revitalizing, reconstructing the Egypt that you know today. Look what it states. In 1867, Samuel of the British Museum published the first extensive English translation. In 1876, he published a photographic copy of the papyrus of Nepsina. Nepsina, however you pronounce it. But look, he translated this into English. Photographed this papyrus for you to see today. You wouldn't even be able to have this papyrus of Nepsa if it wasn't for him right here. He gave you that. The Bantu Negro in the Congo's on the continent. Why he ain't over there excavating and giving us the history back to us? But the European is over there doing it. I don't give a damn what excuse you niggas come with. Oh, the colonization. I don't want to hear none of that. These are the niggas who brought you your Egypt for today. Your concept of Egypt is fashioned and framed out the mind of the European. Look at that. What does it state? In 1876, Samuel of the British Museum published the first extensive English translation. In 1876, he published a photographic copy of the papyrus of Nepsina. There you go, right there. He did that. He gave you that. The work of E.A. Wallace Budge Samuel's successor at the British Museum is still in wide circulation, including both his hieroglyphic edition and his English translation of the Papyrus of Enna. He gave you that. The Papyrus of Enna, he gave you that. Y'all niggas want to talk about Ma'at? He gave you that. He reintroduced Ma'at to you. Though the later are now considered inaccurate and outdated, more recent translations in English have been published by T.G. Allen, 1974, and Raymond Faulkner, 1972. See that? So they're trying to decipher something that cannot be even deciphered if you ain't had the nigga who put them shits on the wall. That's why every time the next generation come, oh, they was incorrect. The next generation after them, oh, they was incorrect. Look at Ma'at. The assessors of Ma'at are the 42 deities listed in the Papyrus of Nebsena, to whom the deceased make the negative confessions in the Papyrus of Ani. See that? The 42 negative confessions found in the Papyrus of Ani. But you wouldn't know nothing about the 42 negative confessions from Ani if it wasn't for this guy. He gave you that. Ain't no Bantu Negro from the Congo gave you the 42 confessions of Ma'at. He gave you that. Samuel right here gave you that. You niggas need to pat him on the back for giving you niggas the 42 confessions of Ma'at, which you niggas uphold dearly. And they say he got it wrong. So you niggas really don't know what y'all following. Now, this guy, Bouchard, Bouchard, Francos. Now, he's the nigga who discovered the Rosetta Stone, not Napoleon. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we give the credit to Napoleon, but nah, it's this nigga. He discovered the Rosetta Stone. Bouchard Pereire now was an officer in the French Army of Engineers. He is most famous for discovering the Rosetta Stone, an important archaeological find that allowed ancient Egyptian writing to be understood for the first time in over a millennium, over 1,000 years. See that? If it wasn't for this white boy right here finding this goddamn rock with this Rosetta Stone, you niggas wouldn't be having a clue of what the hieroglyphs read. Because this was the opening right here for you niggas to start understanding the language and the grammar and all that. With this cat, right? He was then put in charge of rebuilding of Fort Julian, an old Mamluk fortification near the port city of Rosetta, present-day Rashad, which Napoleon had renamed after Thomas Prosper Julian, recently assassinated in Egypt. During these works, he discovered the Rosetta Stone on the 15th or 19th July, 1799. He was immediately convinced of its importance and enthusiasm. He passed it on to generals Minoa and Bonaparte. So this is the guy who discovered the Rosetta Stone, which began the decipherment of ancient hieroglyphs. Right? Now we got Thomas Young. You know what he responsible for? Take a guess. Take a guess. You know what that is on the right of him? You know what that is? What script that is? Let's find out. Thomas Young. He was instrumental in the decipherment of Egyptian hieroglyphs, specifically the Rosetta Stone. See that? So after the Rosetta Stone was here, boom, he hopped on it. Oh, let me see what's up with this. He was instrumental in the decipherment of Egyptian hieroglyphs, specifically the Rosetta Stone. So here go the Rosetta Stone up here. He's the one helped deciphering this. He don't look like no Bantu Negro from the Congo. Listen. Again, he was instrumental in the decipherment of Egyptian hieroglyphs, specifically the Rosetta Stone. By the age of 14, Young had learned Greek, Latin, French, Italian, Syriac, Samaritan Hebrew, Arabic, and Biblical Aramaic, Persian, Turkish, and Guignes. Nigga, what type of nigga this nigga was? At 14 years old, this nigga knew all them languages. What type of nigga is that? You would never think this white boy would know and speak fluently in all those languages. Samaritan Hebrew. You know what Samaritan Hebrew is? Nigga, that's the closest to Paleo Hebrew, to the original. And then you got the Syriac, Arabic, and Biblical Aramaic. Come on, man. What we dealing with here? This ain't no dumb white boy, basically what I'm saying. Ain't none of these dumb white boys. Although they look dumb, plantation-looking niggas, but these motherfuckers are smart. You would never know back in the 1700s, niggas out here learning all that type of shit, and he was 14. Now, look what it states. He began using an Egyptian demotic alphabet of 29 letters built up by John David in 1802. 14 turned out to be incorrect. Archibald was correct in stressing the importance of the demonic text in trying to read the inscription, but he wrongly believed that the demonic was entirely alphabet. Now look, by 1814, Young had completely translated the incorporeal text of the Rosetta Stone using a list with 86 demonic words, and then studied the hieroglyphic alphabet, but initially failed to recognize that the demonic and the hieroglyph text were paraphrases and not simple translations. So look at this. This nigga already translated the Rosetta Stone. It said he had completely translated basically the Rosetta Stone. See that? And then they know in Arabic and Hebrew and all that. So you... Yo, this shit is wild. Several scholars have suggested that Young's true contribution to Egyptology was what? His decipherment of the Demotic script. He made the first major advancement in this area. He also correctly identified Demotic as being composed by both ideographic and phonetic signs. He gave you that. So when you see this Demotic script standing right next to him, he deciphered that. Ain't no Bantu Negro from the Congo out of Africa gave you this. Redeciphering this. Reconstructing or bringing it back. Reviving this. It's him. Thomas Young gave you the decipherment of the demonic text. Now, we come to Champollion, 1790. 1832, there go his published works. Pantheon, Egyptian collection. So now, see, these niggas got published works. They got published works that they authorized. They wrote books based off what they was learning and publishing, studying Egypt. Now look, Jean Champollion announced the transliteration of the Egyptian script in Paris in 1822. So all these niggas is translating and breaking down and deciphering what you consider yours, right? Again, Jean Champollion announced the transliteration of the Egyptian scripts in Paris in 1822. The French scholar Champollion opens in New Window, 1790 to 1832, then realized that hieroglyphs recorded the sound of the Egyptian language. This laid the foundation of our knowledge of ancient Egyptian language and culture. Champollion made a crucial step in understanding ancient Egyptian writing when he identified the hieroglyphs that were used to write the names of non-Egyptian rulers. See that? He's doing all this. The white boy doing all this. He announced his discovery, which had been based on analysis of the Rosetta Stone and other texts, and appeared at the Academia des Inscriptions et Belles Lettres, opened in New Window at Paris on Friday, 27 September 1822. Champollion then made a second crucial breakthrough, realizing that the alphabetic signs were used not only for foreign names, but also for Egyptian names. He giving you that. He did that. Not a Bantu Negro from the Congo. You niggas' idea and ideology of Egypt is framed on the shoulders of these white boys. Together with his knowledge of Coptic language, which derived from ancient Egyptian, this allowed him to begin reading hieroglyphics inscription fully. In 1822, the corresponding Egyptian hieroglyphs were deciphered by Champollion, marking the beginning of modern Egyptology. Look at that. I don't see no Bantu Negro from the Congo yet, deciphering nothing, giving us anything. As a young man, he was renowned in scientific circles and read Coptic, ancient Egypt, ancient Greek, Latin, Hebrew, and Arabic. Here go another cat. This is 3 people that is Egyptologists that spoke fluent Hebrew. Spoke Hebrew and Arabic. And these is white boys out of Europe. Ain't a Jew yet. So you got Europeans, hard-bodied Europeans that were speaking fluent Hebrew. That's deciphering Egypt's hieroglyphs. In 1820, Champollion embarked in earnest on the project of decipherment of hieroglyphic scripts, soon overshadowing the achievement of British polymath. It's crazy, Bronzo, you brought up polymath the other day. You brought that up literally. I think it was yesterday you brought up polymath, and look at that. See how I judge our work? Now, Thomas Young, who had made the first advancement in decipherment before 1819, in 1822, Champollion published his first breakthrough in the decipherment of the Rosetta hieroglyphs, showing that the Egyptian writing system was a combination of phonetics and ideograph signs. He gave you that. The first such script discovered in 1824, he published at Precis, in which he detailed a known primarily as the decipher of, look at that. He published a Precis in which he detailed a known primarily as the decipherer of Egyptian hieroglyphs and a founding figure in the field of Egyptology. Come on now. Where the Bantu Negro at? Where's the founding figure of the Bantu Negro in Egyptology in this day and age, in 1824, in the mid-1800s? Niggas on the continent, where they at? Show me they works. Oh, well, you know, the colonizer, get out of here. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear excuses. I want to see evidence of niggas bringing you and reconstructing Egypt for us as black people. No, you can't say that. Deciphering hieroglyph scripts, demonstrating the value of its phonetic and ideographic signs. Although some still argue that he should have acknowledged the contribution of Young, his decipherment is now universally accepted and has been the basis for all further development in the field. Consequently, he is regarded as the founder and father of Egyptology. See that? That's Champollion they talking about. They talking about this nigga is the founding, a father of Egyptology. I showed you the first nigga was the founder of it. And Athanasius, he was the founder. They classify Champollion as the father. There ain't no Bantu Negro from the Congo. Where they at? You niggas is just as bad as the Jews. The same way the European Jews fashion and frame what the black Jews copy is the same thing with you niggas with ancient Egypt. Everything you know about ancient Egypt is on the shoulders of these white boys. Champollion's table of hieroglyphic phonetics characters with their demonic and Greek equivalent. Here goes some of his works right here. Look at that. That's Champollion putting it together. See that? Ain't no Bantu nigga over in the Congo doing this. The Champollion, white boy. He doing this. He putting it together. And this nigga can speak Hebrew. See the A? And you know the A is the bird sign and symbol. So these are the different symbols associated with the A. He gave you that. The H, the Ha. Look at that. The leaf. That's the leaf of my aunt right there. What we talking about here? So anytime you want to talk about Imhotep, Hotep, brother, Hotep, or Ma'at, they gave you this. They fashioned that for you to say. The first methodological advancement where Joseph de Guignes discovered that cartouches identified the names of rulers. See that? Come on, man. Let's move on. Now look at this. Christian Charles, Josias von Bunsen, 1791 to 1860. Now, there go his works to the right. That's what he authored. These niggas wrote books off of their works. See what I'm saying? So now, what is he known for? What did he give you? And you know, I'm hitting you with people that is, you know what I mean, crucial to the understanding of your ancient Egyptians works. Now watch this. Now look, I'm gonna just say Charles. Guess what he's responsible for? You see that? What that say? The old, middle, and new kingdoms of Egypt. That idea and that concept of you saying old kingdom, middle kingdom, and new kingdom, he gave you that. Charles gave you that. He's a German. Charles, German Egyptologist, coined the term Old, Middle, and New Kingdom in 1845 to describe a period in ancient Egyptian history that is considered one of three golden ages. The term was used by archaeologists in the 19th century to help distinguish Egypt's long history. See that? So anytime you hear any one of these blackity black Kemetic niggas talking about the old kingdom or during the middle kingdom, well, during the new kingdom with Tutankhamun, they got this shit from this white boy. See that? Your whole concept of modern day Egypt is fashioned on the shoulders of these white men. Mr. Blackity Blacks. Now, look, but the Egyptians themselves. All right, let me run that line back. The term was used by archaeologists in the 19th century to help distinguish Egypt's long history. But look what it says next. But the Egyptians themselves did not use the name and likely did not see a difference between the Old Kingdom and the periods before and after. So what they're telling you is that, and we know this, the Egyptians didn't look at it as, oh, this is the Old Kingdom, this is the New Kingdom, or this is the Middle Kingdom. He created that. So we don't know what the ancient Egyptian timeline really was because we're fashioning the Old, Middle, and New Kingdom based off of this concept, based off of Charles. But even in this work, it said, but the Egyptians themselves didn't use the name Old, Middle, and New Kingdom, and likely didn't see a difference between the Old Kingdom and the periods before and after. So if that's the case, that means that that whole 4,000 years is one bloodline. Because Old Kingdom, New Dynastic, that's dealing with the family line. So what I'm showing you is that these Europeans created a whole new world, a whole new idea and concept for Egypt, and you niggas is piggybacking off of this shit. The definition, show you where I'm at. The definition of the Old Kingdom has changed significantly over the centuries, but it's most often considered to be the time between the 3rd and 6th dynasties, from 2686 BC to 2181 BC. See that? What is that time period? That's during the Old Kingdom. See how we use that? He gave us that. So every time we say Old Kingdom, New Kingdom, Middle Kingdom, Charles gave you that. And then it says BC, before Common Era, Dionysus gave us that. So I'm showing you, hook, line, and sinker, that even the timeline, nigga, you embedded to the European. So let's not act blackety black with this hanging over your head. Now, Charles is the author of this book here, Egyptus Stella Indar, however you pronounce that. But yeah, this is his authorized works. This is the book he put out based off his study and research. See, these niggas are putting out books, which makes them authors, which makes the authorship of Egyptology. Because ain't no Bantu Negro from the Congo even publishing nothing. Where's the publication of the Bantu Negro from the Congo explaining us to Egypt and deciphering during any of these times, from the 16th to the 17th, on up into the 1800s? Where they at? Sir John Gardens, Wilkinson. Now look, I put the published work beside him. This is the book he authored, The Manners and Customs of the Ancient Egyptians. He gave you that. This is the 3rd volume. He got 3 volumes. He authorized that. Now, who was he? Sir John was an English traveler, writer, and pioneer Egyptologist of the 19th century. He is often referred to as the father of British Egyptology. Where is the black man in British that is the head nigga of Egyptology? Where he at? They were the white boy, but where the black man in Britain? Niggas wasn't slaves over there like during this time like we wasn't over here. Where they at? Where is the Bantu Negro from the Congo from Britain publishing, authorizing ancient Egyptian works? Now, again, he is often referred to as the father of British Egyptology. Wilkinson first arrived in Egypt in October 1821 as a young man of 24 years, remaining in the country for a further 12 years. Continuously during his stay, Wilkinson visited virtually every known ancient Egyptian site, skillfully recording inscriptions and paintings as a talented copyist and compiling composius notes. Wilkinson's most significant work was Manners and Customs of the Ancient Egyptians. See that? Manners and Customs. He gave you that. Any rituals and practice, he gave you that. See that? That's his works right there. That's his works right there. First published in 3 volumes in 1837 and subsequently illustrated by Joseph, this title stood as the best general treatment of ancient Egyptian culture and history for the next half century. Look at that. Acclaimed for this publication brought Wilkinson a knighthood in 1839 and ensured him the title of the first distinguished British Egyptologist. Look at that. Where is the Bantu Negro that is the first British Egyptologist? Where you at? That's what I'm saying. Where you at? Where is his published works? Nicholas French. Yeah, we're going to say Nicola. 1800 to 1843. Was an Italian Egyptologist, a scholar and friend of Champollion. He is regarded as the founder of Egyptology in Italy. Where is the Bantu Negro, founder of Egyptology in Italy? Where he at? That's how we playing over here. Y'all want to claim blackity black, but I don't see no blackity black niggas rediscovering the knowledge of Egypt. In 1827, he went to Paris for a year in order to improve his knowledge of the method of decipherment proposed by Champollion. See that? These niggas clicking up, getting together, making this shit make sense. You niggas owe these white boys. You blackity black Egyptologist niggas, Kemetic niggas, you owe these white boys. You blackity black Hebrew Israelites, you owe them white Jews. You blackity black Christians, you owe them Europeans. Because if it wasn't for them niggas, you wouldn't know none of this shit. You wouldn't know that you were Israelite if it wasn't for them white Jews. You wouldn't know that you were a follower of Christian if you wasn't for them white goddamn white Europeans, Christians. You wouldn't know that you were a blackity black Kemetic nigga if it wasn't for these white European Egyptologists. Now let's move on. The Carl Richard Lepsusis. Mm-hmm. See that? What'd that say? What'd that say? Egyptian Book of the Dead, right? See that? The book of coming forth by day and night. This is the goddamn Bible for the Egyptian niggas. This is the Bible for Egyptology, the ancient book of the dead. Let's see what he about. Carl Richard. He's widely known for his Opus Magnum, Den Mahler, what's that? Us Egyptian Ethiopia, or Monuments from Egypt and Ethiopia. All right. He is widely known for his Opus Magnum, Monuments from Egypt to Ethiopia. All right. Carl Richard, first translator of a complete book of the dead manuscript. The first translator. He the first one that completely translated the pyramid text. That ain't no Bantu nigga from the Congo. That nigga look like your local judge. Huh? He look like your local judge locking niggas up, but he is the first translator of a complete book of the Dead Sea. I mean, the Dead Sea, of the Book of the Dead. All right, let's read that again. Carl Richard, first translator of a complete Book of the Dead manuscript. In 1842, Carl Richard published a translation of a manuscript dated to the Ptolemaic era and coined the name Book of the Dead. He also introduced the spell numbering system, which is still in use, identifying 165 different spells. See that? When you're trying to look for the numbers, go to spell number 37. All right, go to spell number 42. He gave you that. First, he gave you the complete rendition of the book, and then he gave you what spells to go to. He did that. All right. Richard Carr promoted the idea of a comparative edition of the Book of the Dead, drawing on all relevant manuscripts. This project was undertaken by Edouard Neville, starting in 1875 and complete in 1886, producing a 3-volume work including a section of vignettes for every one of the 186 spells he worked with. The more significant variation of the text for every spell and commentary. Look at this. Anything you want to talk about the spell of this or the spell of Osiris or the cat, he gave you that. He deciphered that for you to understand. They doing the work. Oh, let me come back down. In 1842, what's the nigga real name again? Carl Richard. In 1842, Carl Richard was commissioned by King Frederick of Prussia to lead an expedition to Egypt and the Sudan to explore and record the remains of the ancient Egyptian civilization. The Prussian expedition was modeled after the earlier Napoleon mission. With surveyors, draftsmen, and other specialists, the mission reached Gaza November 1842 and spent 6 months making some of the first scientific studies of the pyramids of Giza, Absur, Saqqara, and Dusur. they discovered 67 pyramids recorded in the pioneering Lupus list of pyramids and more than 130 tombs of noble men in the area. Carl Richard published widely in the field of Egyptology and is considered the father of this modern scientific discipline. Look at that. This nigga's over here rediscovering the pyramids, rediscovering tombs, assuming a role that Champollion might have achieved. He had not died so young. Much of his work is fundamental to the field. Indeed, Carl Richard even coined the phrase Book of the Dead. There you have it. He coined that, right? He was also a pioneer in the field of African linguistics. Look at that. Huh? He was a pioneer in the field of African linguistics, though his ideas are now mainly considered to be outdated. Based on his work in the ancient Egyptian language and his field work in the Sudan, Carl Richard developed a standard alphabet for transliterating African languages. Huh? Where the Bantu Negro doing the work? Carl Richard's list of pyramids is the first attempt at systematically listing all the Egyptian pyramids. See that? So when you say the step pyramid is the first pyramid, nigga, he gave you that. And as such is a pioneer effort of early modern Egyptology. Come on, man. Those were some of his Scrabble works right there. Notebook of Carl Richard for the Prussian expedition in Egypt, 1842 to 1845. So that's his works. That's his handwriting. Look at that. See the Egyptian? Glyphs and all that over here. They go a cartouche right there with the king's name. Come on, or queen's name. Showing you their works. Showing you their works. Where is the black man from the Congo? Where his works at during these times? German Egyptologist Richard also documented the Abydos Kings list and published his finding in 1855. Look at that. He gave you the Kings list. You want to talk about the King list, the Abydos Kings list? He gave you that. If it wasn't for this white boy, the Kings list would still be up in them pyramids somewhere up in them temples. You wouldn't know nothing about the Kings list. If it wasn't for him right here. Carl Richard, German Egyptologist. Huh? You niggas are sitting on the backs of Germans. Let's go to this cat. Neville. Henry Deville. Let's go to Deville. 1844 to 1926. This is what he published. There go his authorized works. Texts relating to the myth of Horus, collected in the temple of Edfu. He gave you that. You want to talk about Horus? Anything about Horus? He gave you that. You niggas wouldn't be know nothing about no Horus or Heru if it wasn't for this white boy here. Neville was a Swiss archaeologist, I'll be stumbling over that word, was a Swiss archaeologist, Egyptologist, and biblical scholar. Look what it states. The first excavator of the Egyptian Exploration Fund was Neville, a Swiss Egyptologist and biblical scholar. In January 1883, Neville set out for Tel El Maskuta. His goal was to find the root of the biblical Exodus, as the fund had decided to broaden its interests in order to appeal to a wider audience. He was a student of Carl Richard, the guy who completely translated the Book of the Dead, and later in his literary executor, He first visited Egypt in 1865, where he copied the Horus text in the temple at Edfu. He did that. He copied the text. Ain't no Bantu Negro copied the text. A Bantu Negro may put it up there. He may have put that shit up there X amount of thousands of years ago. But he ain't coming back to goddamn decipher the shit for us. Guess what? So let me read this line back. He was a student of Carl Richard and later his literary executor. He first visited Egypt in 1865, where he copied the Horus text in the temple at Edfu. Look, the statue of Ramses II, founded by Neville. See that? So the statue of Ramses, right? They're bringing this back to the forefront. They're making this public. They're bringing back and revising Egypt. They doing that. His early works concerned the solar text and the Book of the Dead. So he's studying the works of his predecessor, which is Carl Richard. Now, look at this. Sir Gaston Maspero, 1846 to 1916. Maspero was a French Egyptologist and director general of excavation and antiquities for the Egyptian government, widely regarded as the foremost Egyptologist of his generation. He began his career teaching Egyptian language, in Paris, becoming a professor at the College of France. In 1881, Maspero's investigation led to the discovery of a hidden tomb near Dar al-Bar, containing 40 mummies, including pharaohs Seti I, Amenhotep I, Thutmose III, and Ramses II. You niggas wouldn't know nothing about these niggas if it wasn't for this man right here, excavating and bringing it out. Now you could brag about Seti I. Now you could brag about Amenhotep I and all the pharaohs that they done dug out that you could brag about now. But at first, it was a crime. Oh, they digging out our ancestors, da-da-da-da. You wouldn't know nothing about these ancestors if it wasn't for these men right here. Reviving your ancient ancestry. But framed off of their thoughts and ideology. So they go Seti. They go Amos the first. You wouldn't know these niggas. This would not exist right now if it wasn't for these cats out there excavating and doing the works, putting it on display, regardless how you feel about how they went about doing it. Your pride as you being a black man coming from the land of Egypt is shaped and molded off the shoulders of these white boys. You scream black power because of this shit, because the shit they brought for you, the shit they put on display at the museums. But if it was purchased or stolen, you're relearning your history based off of their works. Look at Seti. That nigga look like a Bantu Negro from the Congo. Zulu face ass nigga. You know what I mean? The blackity black. So Seti would have to come alive and say, yo, what's going on in the walls? We have to revitalize Seti and say, yo, Seti, what these scriptures really mean? You was there when they was putting them up. What they mean? See that? Because our understanding, Seti, of Egypt today is based off the shoulder of these white boys. Do they got it right or they wrong? They're gonna wake up and be like, yo, these niggas got it wrong. Now look, Maspero was highly regarded for his versatility and contribution to Egyptology. He authored the comprehensive history of ancient the Orient classes from 1895, 1897, and was the first editor and translator of the pyramid text known as the Book of the Dead. The first editor and translator of the pyramid text known as the Book of the Dead. See that? These niggas out here putting in work. See that? First editor and translator of the Book of the Dead. But then you got Bowles' version of the Book of the Dead. These niggas making all type of translations of the book. Look what it states. In 1869, Maspero became a teacher of Egyptian language and archaeology. And at the École Pratique des, how do you pronounce that? In January 1873, he presented the first doctoral thesis on Egyptology in France. Come on now. Where's the black man in France upholding and giving a doctoral thesis on Egyptology? Where he at? What it saying? In 1869, Maspero became a teacher of Egyptian language. He teaching niggas the language. Where is the black man in 1869 teaching the Egyptian language in the goddamn Congo, right up the block from the goddamn pyramids? Where he at? In 1882, this is OAHSPE time, he led the first excavation at Lis, which resulted in the discovery of the eroded pyramid of Amenhotep I. These niggas out there doing field research, rediscovering pyramids, rediscovering bones and bodies, deciphering and translating text. Where's the Bantu Negro from the Congo doing any of this? Where you at? They go to the pyramid of Amenhotep I. See that? Book of the Gate. A magical translation. He gave you that. All these is within the text. The text was not named by the Egyptians. It was named by French Egyptologist Gaston Maspero, which called it Book of Gates. See that? So when you talk about the Book of Gates, he gave you that. See, he said it wasn't named by the Egyptians. So what they're showing you is that the Egyptians of ancient times didn't come up with none of this, what they're coming up with. They're coming up with this shit. They rationalizing, realizing, reasoning, trying to figure it out, and coming up with their own conclusions. Now, there's the Pyramid of Unas. The reason I got Ma'at up there is because why? Let's read. The earliest surviving records indicating that Ma'at is the known for nature and society in this world and the next were recorded during the Old Kingdom of Egypt. You remember who I told you gave you the Old Kingdom? The white boy. The earliest substantial surviving example being found in the pyramid text of Unas, 2375 BCE and 2345 BCE. So the whole concept of you knowing anything about Ma'at comes from the pyramid of Unas, of Eunice. Now look, entry was first gained by Gaston Maspero. Look what it says. Entry was first gained. He the first one to get entry in this pyramid probably since the time it was standing, when it was in its prime. Look what it states. Who examined its substructure in 1881. Same time OAHSPE being compiled and published. He had recently discovered a set of texts in the pyramids of Pepi I and Merenre I. Those same texts were discovered in Unas' tomb, making this their earliest known appearance. See that? See that? Look at that. Anything about a Ma'at is found in the pyramid of Unas, but he gave you that. He discovered this for you, revised it for you. And you know we got Petrie, Sir Flinders Petrie. I know who he is, 1853 to 1942. And if you notice, I'm going down the sequential timeline. I'm not going with these niggas scattered about. I started from the 1600s to the founder of Egyptology, and I'm coming down from the 16th to the 17th. Now we in the 1800s. So I'm giving you a timeline of these Europeans, how they discovering, transliterating, translating, publishing, authorizing books on the black Egypt. But ain't a Bantu Negro from the Congo doing any of this. So now we have Sir Flinders Petries. Now some of y'all are familiar with this stela. You know what this stela is right here, right? Who know what this stela is? This stela right here. What stela is this? We're going to see. He has been referred to as the father of Egyptian archaeology. Huh? He's considered the you notice how they giving them names like the founding father, the father. Ain't no Bantu Negro getting none of these titles. He has been referred to as the father of Egyptian archaeology. Petrie traveled to Egypt in early 1880, same time OAHSPE being revealed, to make an accurate survey of Giza, making him the first to properly investigate how the pyramids there were constructed. Many theories had been advanced on this, and Petrie read to them, but none was based on first-hand observation or logic. Many theories had been advanced on this, and Petrie read them all, but none was based on first-hand observation or logic. So he out there doing the field. Now there you go, the Menpera stela, right? The Menpeta stela, also known as the Israel stela, or the Victory stela of Menpeta, is an inscription by Menpeta, a pharaoh in ancient Egypt who reigned from 1213 to 1203 BCE. See that? Discovered by Flinders Petrie at Thebes in 1896. So he discovered this stela right here. It is now housed at the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. The stela was discovered in 1896 by Flinders Petrie in the ancient Egyptian city of Thebes, the first translated by Wilk Spiegelberg. Spiegelberg. All right. Sir Ernest Alfred Wallace Budge. Now we couldn't budge. See, we went through all that, then we came to budge. People, oh, budge. No, budge ain't nobody. Look at all the lists we came down the history before we got to budge. Before we even got to Faulkner. So these niggas is coming on piggybacking off what's been modeled from their forefather Egyptologists. Now you have another Egyptian Book of the Dead, Wallace Budge. All these niggas making their own translation. Was an English Egyptologist. He published many books on Egyptology, helping to bring the finding to a larger audience. In 1920, he was knighted for his service to Egyptology and the British Museum. Budge was also a prolific author, and he is especially remembered today for his works on ancient Egyptian religion and his hieroglyphic primers. Budge argued that the religion of Osiris had emerged from an indigenous African people. What we talking about here? What we talking about? This nigga argued the fact that the followers of Osiris, or basically the ancient Egyptians, was indigenous Africans. Basically, that's what he's saying. He argued that. He didn't state it. He was arguing the fact of that. So he was standing on business for you niggas. He was giving you niggas the credit that, nah, the indigenous Africans is the ones who built this shit. See that? What that say? Budge argued that the religion of Osiris had emerged from an indigenous African people. He giving you niggas the credit. Budge's contention that the religion of the Egyptian was derived from similar regions of the people of northeastern and central Africa was regarded as impossible by his colleagues. See that? His colleagues denied the fact that the ancient Egyptians were indigenous Africans, but Budge was like, nah, nigga, I'm gonna argue that these niggas is the motherfucking ancient Egyptians. Budge stood on business before his colleagues, and his colleagues were Europeans. So these are Europeans arguing about your black ass, while in return deciphering your hieroglyphs. In return, modeling and fashioning the modern day ideology of Egyptology, which you niggas stand on. You stand on the backs of these white boys. You stand on the backs of their works. James Edward Quabell, 1867 and 1935. So by now, if you notice, I got the picture, but whatever I got next to him is What they're responsible for. What are he responsible for? James was a British Egyptologist. The Narmer palette was discovered in 1896 by James and Frederick Green. Huh? You wouldn't know nothing about the Narmer palette if it wasn't for this guy right here. He gave you that. He gave you that. And a Bantu Negro from the Congo gave you the Narmer palette. A Bantu Negro from the Congo may have made the Narmer palette, but there ain't a Bantu Negro from the Congo reviving the Narmer palette, nor deciphering the Narmer palette. They deciphered it for you, and you piggybacking off of their works, making the corrections off their mistakes like they was making the corrections off their predecessor mistakes. It's a continual thing until we perfect it. But we got to be honest. This shit was fashioned and piggybacked off these Europeans. Now, it was founded with the collection of objects that had been used for ceremonial purposes and then ritually buried within the temple of Harkanopolis. He worked at Saqqara in the Valley of the Kings, where he discovered the tomb of Yuya and Thuya in 1905. Noble Yuya and his wife Thuya in the Valley of the Kings. They were the parents of Queen Ta, the chief wife of Pharaoh Amenhotep III. Huh? He discovered the parents of Queen Ta. And there they go right there. He gave you that. You niggas want to brag about, oh, the bodies. See, we got bodies, but these niggas gave you the bodies. You want to brag about the Israelites and the biblical cats not having bodies, or there's no bodies. You wouldn't have no bodies if it wasn't for these white boys to brag about. To brag to the Hebrew Israelites. Well, they go our ancient African ancestors, but they dug that shit up for you to goddamn brag about. You niggas ain't go out there and dug up no bodies. And a Bantu Negro from the Congo dug up any of these tombs and got the props for it. See that? These are the parents of Queen Ta. You know who Queen Ta is? You know who Queen Ta is, right? Queen Ta? There she is. See that? See the model of Queen Ta? See that? See that? This is her parents. See that? That's Queen Ta. These are her parents, mother and father. Look at that. This nigga look like Abraham Lincoln. Don't he? He like Abraham Lincoln damn near. He got that Abraham Lincoln look. Look at that. So you niggas wouldn't know nothing about the mother and father of Queen Ta if it wasn't for this cat. Y'all got to stop playing games. Y'all niggas better give these white boys their credit. Because you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know 90% of Egypt, the history, the linguistics, if it wasn't for these white boys. Gustave Jachard. Now look, 1868 to 1946. Look what he did. Now look at him. He don't look like, come on now, like this nigga looks so underestimated right here. He look like a typical plantation colonizer, face-looking ass nigga, right? But look what he doing. He out there putting in the work. Let's Temple Memphis Thebes. The Temple of Memphis Thebes. This is his work. That's what he authorized. That's his authorized work. Gustave conducted the first systematic study of the pyramid text. Look at this nigga. You would never think a nigga that looked like that over here systematically studying the pyramid text. You can never underestimate a man or his drive to do something. He over here deciphering the pyramid text. And look at the date. He was born 1868 to 1946. Gustave conducted the first systematic study of the pyramid text between 1926 and 1932. Gustave excavated the pyramids of Pepi II, Neith the First. What did I say? I put the second. Must be a word missing. Wajuddin and Quakar Iba, and later published the text he founded in them. So he discovered these pyramids, and he's writing, publishing texts, showing you like, yo, Gustavo began his career under the guidance of the Egyptologist Gaston Maspero. See how these niggas is piggybacking off each other's works? He said he began his career under the guidance of the Egyptologist Maspero. We just went through Maspero's work earlier. Now he's guided by his works. And Gustavo and specialized in pre-dynastic periods. Gustavo also conducted the excavation of Quakar Ibis Pyramid. He later published the complete corpus of texts found in these 5 pyramids. So again, here go these cats. They actually publishing work, researching, bringing you the information. Anything you want to find out about certain things, dealing with pre-dynastic Egypt, the systematic study of the pyramid text, these cats is behind it. He's behind, that's the face. That's his works. Author of Let's Temple Memphis at Thebes. That's his works right there. That's his book. That's what he authorized. Huh? Heinrich Sakar, I don't have a face for him. German Egyptologist, 1868 to 1957. He's the one responsible for the Palmetto Stone. The importance of the Palmetto Stone was not recognized until it was noticed by a visiting French archaeologist in 1895. The first full publication and translation was that done in 1902 by Heinrich Scaffer. So look, you wouldn't have a translation, you wouldn't have an understanding of these kings or this king's list right here if it wasn't for this cat. He translated that. He gave you that. Ain't no Bantu nigga from the Congo said Narmer. Any of the pharaohs' names, they did that. You feel me? They did that. Now look, William Spiegelberg, 1870 to 1930. Y'all know what that is, right? Spiegelberg was a German Egyptologist. He specialized in analysis of Demotic and hieratic texts. Spiegelberg made important contribution towards the deciphering of the demonic script and in the field of demonic lexicography. See that? These niggas defining the words. They doing that. Petrie called upon Spiegelberg, a German philologist, in his archaeological team to translate the inscription. Spiegelberg was puzzled by one symbol toward the end. And they're talking about the Mana Ptah Stela, by the way, that of a people of a tribe whom Merin Ptah, also written Merin Ptah, had victoriously smitten. Israel. Petrie quickly suggested that it read Israel. Spiegelberg agreed that this translation must be correct. Won't the reverend be pleased? Marked Petrie at dinner that evening. Petrie, who realized the importance of the find, said, "This stela will be better known in the world than anything else I have found." The news of its discovery made headline when it reached the English paper. The line which refers to Israel is below, shown in reverse to match the English translation. The original Egyptian is in right to left script. So now it states, Israel is laid waste, his seed is no more. Here's the supposed hieroglyph for Israel or Israel, waste, and then the rest of the inscription. And here's the actual inscription here. So the idea of you even placing Israel in history based off the Menptah Stela is based off the works of this guy. He gave you that. He behind that. Him and Petrie. You niggas wouldn't even be saying that the Israelites existed on the Minptah Stela if it wasn't for these cats. And that goes for the Israelites. Because that's what they use to identify them in history, the Minptah Stela. But you got to give credit to this dude. He the one over here translating and deciphering it. Howard Carter, 1874-1939. What he known for? What he do? Was a British archaeologist and Egyptologist who discovered the intact tomb of the 18th dynasty pharaoh Tutankhamun. In November 1922, the best preserved pharaonic tomb ever found in the Valley of the Kings. And if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't know nothing about Tutankhamun. He'll still be buried with all his gold. And you wouldn't be able to brag about our ancient Egyptian ancestry. These niggas put the work in, dug, excavated, discovered, brought it to the museums and said, look, 100 years later, here you come. Look what our ancient ancestors did. Now you wearing all the clothing like the ancient Egyptians. If it wasn't for these niggas, you wouldn't even know you were an Egyptian. In November 1922, the best preserved pharaonic tomb ever found in the Valley of the Kings. Lord Carnarvon. In 1907, he began work for Lord Carnarvon, who employed him to supervise the excavation of nobles' tombs in Dar el-Banhar near Thebes. Gaston Maspero, who we read about earlier, head of the Egyptian Antiquity Service, had recommended Carter to Carnarvon as he knew he would apply modern archaeological methods and systems of recording. The Valley of the Kings was rediscovered by modern explorers in the early 19th century, but British archaeologist Howard Carter is credited with the most famous discovery in 1922, the tomb of King Tutankhamun, also known as King Tut. Carter began excavating the tomb on November 4th, 1922, with the help of wealthy British explorer Lord Carnarvon, who had secured a concession to continue excavating in the valley. Now, he's responsible. He employed Carter to do excavation, and through that, he discovered the remains of King Tut. So all that you're seeing right there, King Tut, he gave you that. They behind that. You wouldn't know nothing about King Tut if it wasn't for these cats. Oh, man. The Egyptian Exploration Society, EES, is a British non-profit organization. The society was founded in 1882 by Amelia Edwards and Reginald Stuart Poole in order to examine and excavate in the areas of Egypt and Sudan. Where is the Bantu Negro from the Congo Egyptian Exploration Society at? The intent was to study and analyze the results of the excavation and publish the information for the scholarly world. See that? For the scholarly world. They over there digging up, excavating for information and research. Where's the Black Man Egypt Exploration Society dealing with Egypt, dealing with excavation during these times? Now become the Raymond Oliver Faulkner. Look at all the Egyptology we came through before we got to Faulkner. Because like I said, I'm coming through a sequential order, coming down the line. 1894 to 1894 to 1982. And this is his work. Middle Egypt. What are you talking about? That don't look like no Bantu Negro from the Congo, by the way. Faulkner was an English Egyptologist, philologist of the ancient Egyptian language. Faulkner's main area of interest was Egyptian philology. And he made major contributions to Egyptology with his translation and indexes of many important ancient Egyptian texts. See that? As well as his autographic Dictionary of Middle Egypt, which remains an important and standard reference of modern Egyptologists and students of the ancient Egyptian language. Look at that. He giving you that. I don't look like no Bantu Negro from the Congo doing all that. As more work has been done on the Book of the Dead, more spells have been identified. And the total now stands at 192. Budge was also a prolific author, and he is especially remembered today for his works on ancient Egyptian religion and his hieroglyphic primers. Budge argued that the religion of Osiris had emerged from an indigenous African people. All but a few scholars followed Flinders Petrie in his theory that the culture of ancient Egyptians was derived from an invading dynasty race, which had conquered Egypt in late prehistory. So those were the two opposing views, that the ancient Egyptians was indigenous Africans, or the ancient Egyptians was a pre-dynastic race outside of Egypt. Now, we come to Werner Kaiser, 1926-2003. What he known for? Egyptologists discovered a large field of pre-dynastic and early dynastic royal tombs in el-Kab, a site near Abydos. Look what it states. It was Professor Werner Kaiser of the German Archaeological Institution in Cairo who in 1964 identified the name of Narmer in an inscription found in Kaab. Now look, he is the one responsible for identifying the name Narmer. Ain't no Bantu Negro from the Congo identifying the Narmer. So when you say Narmer, Menes, and all the ancient Egyptian names, it's on the shoulder of these white boys. And keep in mind, this is their conclusion of it. This ain't what the ancient Egyptians wrote and spoke. This ain't what the ancient Egyptians stated from any of it, from the translation. All this is based off of research, trial and error coming down through the ages. Now, we come to the blackity blacks. So by the time we come to the black Egyptologists, so black Egyptologists stand on the shoulders of European Egyptologists. Black Egyptologists stand on the shoulders of European Egyptologists. Now, I just ran down a list of Europeans who fashioned and molded the idea of modern day Egyptology. So by the time we get to the Dr. Benz, by the time we get to the Sheikh Anta Diop, by the time we get to Anthony Browder, by the time we get to Ashar Kwesi, Jabari, by the time we get to Baba Haru and John Henry Clark, by the time we get to these men, the concept and identity of Egypt, the concept of Egypt has already been fashioned. The Europeans already deciphered and fashioned it. So by the time we come along, all we doing is just piggybacking off of their works, turning it blackity black, because we know it do come from our ancestors indeed. But the modern concept of Egypt is fashioned and framed on the shoulders of these Europeans. There's no way around it. I just showed that. Not a Bantu Negro from the Congo deciphered anything that I just showed. I gave you history, time, what they authorized, what they published, what they discovered, what they translated, what they transliterated. They did that. So by the time the blackity blacks come around, our brothers and sisters, and no spite to these brothers, no hate on these brothers at all. This is just the facts. By the time they come around, just like the Jews, by the time the black Jews come around, they're piggybacking and fashion what they know as being a Jew is off the European Jews who showed the lineage of upholding Tanakh. It's the same thing with Egyptology. I just showed the lineage of this European upholding Egyptology from the 16th century coming on down. So by the time you come to the 19th century and we start to identify back with Africa, and now we want to learn about Egypt, we got to piggyback off these Europeans. The same way the black Jews got to piggyback off the white Jews. So facts. And salute to these brothers. I commend these brothers. It ain't no disrespect to the elders. None of that. I'm just stating the facts. And how the mind has been fashioned about Egypt off these Europeans. Now you have Jabari, Baba Haru, the Shrine of Ma'at, the Shrine of Ptah. Salute to these brothers. It's all love and light over here. Now, when you go to the website of the Shrine of Ma'at, it says, this was on the website. It says the service of the Shrine of Ma'at. Initiation is a process by which an individual becomes a formal member of the shrine. This process includes fasting, reading, studying, and prayer. It is a process of self-improvement and self-reflection. And the initiation provides clarity to the understanding and meaning of being a practitioner of Kemetic spirituality as represented by the Shrine of Ma'at. This membership entitles a person to be included in a membership directory and to receive certain identifying items that designate them as the members of the shrine, including a pendant, certificate, and other initiants artifacts only given to these members. So, you know what I mean? Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with what they're trying to do. I get it. But we're going into the shrine. It's funny how they use the word shrine of Ma'at and shrine of Ptah. Now, here you have Jabari at the altar. Because in a lot of times when you have a shrine, there's an altar that comes with the shrine. So what is a shrine and what is an altar? Let's read. A shrine, Latin, sacrarium, case or chest for books or papers. But a shrine is a sacred space dedicated to a specific deity, ancestor, hero, martyr, saint, or demon. Demon. How you say it, Cosmon? Demon. Or similar figure of respect, wherein they are venerated or worshipped. Shrines often contain idols, relics, or other such objects associated with the figure of being venerated. A shrine at which votive offering are made is called an altar. So you have the Shrine of Ma'at, the Shrine of Ptah, and now you see they're doing an outside ceremony, I'm sure, but there you see the altar, right? What is an altar? An altar is a table or platform for the presentation of religious offerings for sacrifice or other ritualistic purposes, right? So now, let's get into it. Founder of the ancient Arabic order, Noble of Mystic Shrine in 1872. Now, if we're dealing with ancient Egypt, realistically, we're not going to call anything associated with the shrine. It's like with the Jews, they're going to say synagogue. They're not going to call it nothing outside of a synagogue going to be associated with, or tabernacle, which coincide with something ancient to them. But shrine is not really associated with ancient Egypt. That's something new. So now let's go into the shrine, because what's that really about? So now, let's get into it. Founder of the ancient Arabic order of nobles of the Mystic Shrine in 1872. You have Walter M. Flemings, 1838 to 1913. William Germain Conlin, 1831, 1891. And that's the little symbol right there for the order of Mystic Shrine. Fleming created the what? Ritual, emblem, and customs. Remember when we read the initiation for Jabari, it talks about they got their own practices, you know, fasting, praying, reading. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But I'm showing you it's a similar system where that kind of piggybacks from. Fleming created a ritual, emblem, and customs. Florence and Flemings were initiated August 13th, 1870, and they initiated 11 men on June 16th, 1871. The group adopted a Middle Eastern theme and soon established temples, although the term temple has now been replaced by shrine, auditorium, or shrine center. The first temple established was Mecca Temple, established at the New York City Masonic Hall on September 26, 1872. Fleming was the first pontiff. So now I'm showing you like the shrine comes from this order over here. Like anything dealing with, if you want to call yourself a shrine, you're going to be affiliating in some form or fashion with these Europeans. Now you have the Black Shrine. Who is this? John G. Jones, 1849 to 1914. Black Shrine. What that's about? Look what it states. Look at this brother right here. Look at this brother closely. This is a brother, right? Look at his rank. Look at his rank. What that say? John G. Jones of Chicago, 33rd degree Mason, highest colored Mason in the United States. Highest colored Mason in the United States. What he talking about? Let's see. Historically, the shrine was open to only white men. In 1893, a black counterpart to the Shriners movement was initiated by John G. Jones and other Prince Hall Masons, initially called the Ancient Egyptian Arabic Order Noble Mystic Shrine of North and South America and its jurisdiction. So, like niggas, they want to do what the white man doing, so he's a 33rd degree Mason. The shrines was only for white people. They like, no, nigga, we need in on this. So they created their own order called the Ancient Egyptian Arabic Order Noble Mystic Shrines, right? But he just piggybacked off of their shit, because their shit is called the Ancient Arabic Order Noble of Mystic Shrine. What did he call his own? The Ancient Egyptian Arabic Order Noble Mystic Shrine of North and South America. He just piggybacked off the white boy. But the concept of the shrine is coming from the white boys. And notice, this is totally different from the Egyptologists, because the Egyptologists, all they did was excavate, discover, transliterate, translate. But now when it comes to the practice, when you're talking about you have ceremonies and rituals, that has nothing to do with the Egyptologists. We're moving into the Shriners, the order of shrine, because that's where the rituals and the order of how you set up the temple, how you create the altar, all that comes from the white boys. But it has nothing to do with Egyptology. So I'm showing you how they immersion Egyptology with the shrine order. The mystic order of the shrine, the Arabic order of noble mystic shrines, they're mixing that now with the ancient Egypt. So now you're thinking these ancient Egyptian rituals and ceremonies is coming out of ancient Egypt when it's coming out of these white boys. It's coming out the ancient, or it's coming out the Arabic order noble mystic shrines of these white boys. And like niggas, they want to piggyback and copy. So this nigga, highest colored Mason in the country, he like, nah, nigga, we want a shrine too. Matter of fact, we're going to call our shit the ancient Egyptian order, the ancient Egyptian Arabic order, noble mystic shrine. Now, let's go to the Asset Society, right? Salute to the God. R.A. Strogan, how you pronounce it? 1944, still around. Salute to the God. Now look, the Asset Society is a Rosicrucian body, especially orientated to meet the needs of African Americans, was founded in the mid-1970s by R.A., formerly the head of what? The Rosicrucian Anthropological League in New York City. He's an Rosicrucianist. R.A., under his adopted name, Ra-un-Nefer Amun, has written a number of occult texts on hermetics and Eastern religion. He has also developed a unique tarot card deck as well. So these are the societies that Jabari them come out of, Baba Haru. Some of them come out of these orders dealing with the shrine, right? Setting up ceremonies, setting up altars, right? The Rosicrucian Anthropological League in New York City. That's their website. That's their website right there, right? See the same symbol up there that the God had on his joint? Right there, the wings of Ma'at right there. We come back up, right? You see it right there, right? You see it right there. Now you see it on the website. But notice on this website, they got this rose right here. I want you to pay attention to that rose. That rose, that's very important. It's a bigger picture, the full picture of the rose right here, right? So now let's dig in. The Rosicrucian order, the temple of the rose cross. The rose cross. So the Rosicrucian order, you have the temple of the rose cross. And now we see the affiliation with the rose on the website of the Rosicrucian, and you see it's affiliated with the Asset Society, right? Now let's go in, because he admits being in the Rosicrucian, the Temple of the Rose. Now here's an example. Here is the Temple of the Rose, the Rosicrucian Temple of the Rose, and to the left, this is a allegory picture of the founder of this order, called Christian Crucis. We're gonna get into it. But now this is the temple right here. This was created in 1611, but it's called the Temple of the Rose. Now, when you look at the Temple of the Rose, right? Look at that. This is the Rosicrucian. When you look at the top of the temple, what do you see right here? What is that? That says Yahuwah. That's the tetragram. That says Yahweh, Yahuwah, Jehovah, whatever name you want to place on it. The head nigga of the Temple of the Rose of the Rosicrucian order is Jehovah. They got him at the top. He ain't at the bottom. And look, he got a hand coming down, like it's delivering the church down. See the hand? That's supposed to be the hand of God. Bringing down or setting. That's like New Jerusalem coming down. The Temple of Rose, the Temple of the Red Rose, like New Jerusalem coming down out of heaven, being delivered on earth. And you see the hand right there. And then you see above the hand, you see the tetragram of Yahweh, Jehovah. So the hierarchy of the Rosicrucian order is Jehovah. And the Asset founder is affiliated and is part of the Rosicrucian. This is supposed to be. Why ain't Ptah up there? Why ain't Ra up there? Why ain't Geb or Osiris up there? What is a Hebrew god doing at the head of the Rosicrucian? And then the brother admits up here on the website, we come back up, what does it say? Asset Society, a Rosicrucian body. The head of the Rosicrucian is Jehovah, not Asar. No, it's at. Where it's at? When you go to the website of the Rosicrucian, I said pay attention to the rose. Pay attention to the rose. There's a significance to that rose for the Rosicrucian order. Rosicrucian order. Let me bring that down on the page. Rosicrucian order, the Temple of the Rose Cross. This is the Temple of the Rose Cross, and at the pinnacle of the Temple of the Rose Cross is Jehovah. The Hebrew God is at the head of the Rosicrucian order. And then the Asset community is a what? A body of the Rosicrucian order. Now, let's read. The Rosicrucianism is a spiritual and cultural movement that arose in the early modern Europe in the early 17th century. This shit ain't come out of Africa. This is coming out of modern Europe in the 17th century, right? After the publication of several texts announcing to the world a new esoteric order, Rosicrucianism is symbolized by the rosy cross or rosy cross. See that? That's what I just showed you. Now, that's why I said pay attention to the cross. That's their symbol. Or the rose and the cross. Now look, Christian Rosenkreuz. This is who the guy is supposed to be the founder of this order, but this is an allegorical picture. This picture comes out of, it says, the Rosicrucian philosopher, an image in Manly P. Hall's book of Secret Teachings of All Ages, illustrated by John Augustus Knapp. So this is not how he really looks, but this is just a depiction coming out of Manly P. Hall's book of the founder of the Rosicrucian, but we know he's a white boy. So now, it says between 1614 and 1617, 3 anonymous manifestos were published, the first in German and soon after throughout Europe. The first is called The Fame of the Brotherhood of R.C. 1614. The next was the Confession of the Brotherhood of RC, 1615. And the next was the chemical wedding of Christian Rosicrucius, anno 1459 to 1617. Now, look what it says. The Fama Fraternitas presented the legend of a German doctor and mystical philosopher referred to as Father Brother, CRC, Christian Rosencreutz Cross. That's his name, Christian Rosencreutz Cross. Later identified in the Third Manifestos as Christian Rosencreutz or Rose Cross. The year 1378 is presented as being the birth year of our Christian father and is stated that he lived 106 years. They're talking about the nigga who started the Rosicrucian named Christian Rosencreutz. He gathered a small circle of friends, disciples, and founded the Rosicrucian order. This can be deduced to have occurred around 1407. Christian Rosencreutz, Christian Rose Cross, is the legendary, possibly allegorical founder of the Rosicrucian order of the Red Cross. Now here's the symbol of the Red Cross. They go to Red Cross. Now remember, I told you pay attention to that Red Cross, which was on the website of the Rosicrucian, which is associated with the Asar Set Society. Now look, the Red Cross is a cross with the rose at its center, which is usually red, gold, or white. It symbolizes the teachings of Western esoteric traditions with Christian tenets. Huh? Ain't nothing Egypt about that. Ain't nothing Bantu Negroish about that. This is Western philosophy, Western esoteric tradition that the ancient Egyptians, that our brothers today practicing the ancient Egyptian order is basically practicing the Rosicrucian order. That's what they're practicing. When they set up them temples and them shrines, this is where it's rooted in. It's not rooted in Kemet. And if it is rooted in Kemet, it's piggybacked off the Europeans who translated and gave you the concept and idea of modern-day Egypt. They gave you that. Now look, it symbolizes the teachings of Western esoteric tradition with Christian tenets. So now, let's get to it. Look at this. The Kabbalistic order of the Red Rose. Look at that. The Kabbalistic order of the Red Rose. The Rosicrucian is titled with Kabbalistic. And look again, what do you see? What does it say? The Kabbalistic order of the Red Cross version of Rosy Cross, the Hebrew tetragram divine name. There you got Yahweh again. You got Jehovah right there in the middle. You got Yahuwah, Yahweh, however you want to pronounce it. The Hebrew God is in the center of the Rosicrucian order. That's the head nigga in charge. But you have the Kemetic niggas following, piggybacking, taking bits and pieces here and there from the Rosicrucian order, the Rosicrucian order. So now the Hebrew tetragram, grammaton, divine name on the arms of the cross, and the pentagrammaton in the inner pentagram. See that? Jews is all over this Rosicrucian order. The Jews is all over this. Huh? I ain't talking about the black Jews. I'm talking about the European Jews behind this. The Kabbalists and the Kabbalists come from the European Jews, not the Bantu Negro from the Congo. So you got this mystic order, the Rosicrucian order, and the head nigga in charge of that order is Jehovah, or Yahweh, or Yahuwah, the Hebrew God. Now, the symbol of the Rosy Cross played a substantial role within the system of Thelma as developed by Aleister Crowley. Hold up. We got Aleister Crowley associated with the Rosy Red? With the Rosy Red? The symbol of the Rosy Cross played a substantial role within the system of Thelma as developed by Aleister Crowley. Huh? What we talking about here? Look, they go Aleister Crowley right there. They go his altar right there. Aleister Crowley in 1912. They go Aleister Crowley right there. What it say? The symbol of the Rosy Cross, the Red Cross, played a substantial role within the system of Thelma as developed by Aleister Crowley. Uh-oh. We got Aleister Crowley involved now. Look what it states. In a cosmological context, the rose is Newt. That rose you see, supposed to be Newt in the Rosicrucian order. That's why I say pay attention to the rose. That rose is significant. So you have the rose as Newt, but then you have the head pinnacle, Jehovah, associated with it. See how it's amalgamated, it's mixed up. You got Jewish mysticism mixed up with ancient Egyptian mysticism combined. You know, damn well these Kemetic niggas is not going to accept a Hebrew God as the head chief nigga in charge. But according to the Rosicrucian, that's who's in charge. The infinitely expanded goddess of the night sky and the cross is Hadid, the ultimately contracted atomic point. For Crowley, it was the job for the adept to identify with the appropriate symbol so to experience the mystical conjunction of the opposites, which led to attainment. In this sense, the rose cross is a grand symbol of the great work. Thelma is a Western esoteric and occult society or spiritual philosophy and a new religious movement founded in the early 1900s by Aleister Crowley. So you got Aleister Crowley tied up into this. See that? Tied up into the rosy red cross. Now look at this. This is from the Asar Asset Society website. The Kemetic Tree of Life. This is the Kemetic Tree of Life, right? The Kemetic Tree, this is from their website. The Kemetic Tree of Life. Put Neteru forms the basis of the cosmogony philosophy of this ancient system. It reunites the traditions of the great black founders of civilization, allowing us to weave their knowledge into a spiritually empowerment way of life, which aims at the awakening of the Asar principle, the divine self within each being. So now this is from it's either from the Asar Set website or the Shrine. It's one of the two. I think it's from the Asar Set Society website. But look what they're doing. This is their explanation of this, right? Where does this really come from? It's called the Asar Set Society Kemetic Tree of Life. So this is new shit they done made up. But where, because you remember the head nigga is part of the Rosicrucian order. And the Rosicrucian order is tied into Kabbalistic mysticism. So now, this is where it comes from. It comes from the Jewish Kabbalah, right here. That's where they got it from. Because this has been around longer than them. And what is this? The Kabbalah is an esoteric method, discipline, and school of thought in Jewish mysticism. So they piggybacking off of Jewish mysticism, putting an ancient Egyptian twist on it. A traditional Kabbalist is called a Makabal in Hebrew, receiver. The definition of Kabbalah varies according to the tradition and aims of those following it. From its original in medieval Judaism to its later adaptation in Western esotericism, Christian Kabbalah, and Hermetic Kabbalah. So it showed you the Jews had it first, and then it came to Western society. So what you have here is them piggybacking off of what the Jews came with. All they did was change the names. They changed the names into these Kemetic names. So what you see right here is Jewish mysticism, Kabbalah mysticism, within the order of a Rosicrucian, within the order of the Asar Set community, right? Which in return is in the Shrine, the orders of the Shrine. They studying this. Now let's look at this. Rosicrucianism influence on the Masonic order. According to Jean Perry, two Rosicrucianist-inspired Masonic rites emerged toward the end of the 18th century. The rectified Scottish rite, widespread in Central Europe, where was a strong presence of the golden and rosy cross. See that? And the ancient and accepted Scottish rite, first practiced in France, in which the 18th degree is called the Knight of the Rose Cross. See that? Rosicrucian inspired the Masonic order. The change from operative to speculative Masonry occurred between the end of the 16th and the beginning of the 18th century. Two of the earliest speculative Masons for whom a record of initiation exists were Sir Robert Moray and Elias Ashmole. Robert stated that earlier 17th century Rosicrucianism had considerable influence on Anglo-Saxon Masonry. Let's read that again. Earlier 17th century Rosicrucianism had a considerable influence on Anglo-Saxon Masonry. Hans Schack sees in the works of Comenius, 1592 to 1670, the idea of a newly born English Masonry before the foundation of the Grand Lodge in 1717. See that? Comenius was in England during 1641. So they're showing you how the Rosicrucian really inspired the Masonic order. According to the writings of the Masonic historian E.J. Marcianus de Nigra, who together with his father Gabriel M. Marcianus is held to be the founder of the rite of the Memphis Mizraim of Freemasonry. Based on earlier conjunctures, 1784, by a Rosicrucian order, Baron de Westenrode, and also promulgated by the 18th century secret society called the Golden Rosy Cross. The Rosicrucian order was created in the year 46 when an Alexandrian Gnostic sage named Ormus and his 6 followers were converted by one of Jesus' disciples, Mark. Their symbol was said to be a red cross, surmounted by a rose. Thus, the designation of Rosy Cross. From this conversion, Rosicrucianism was supposedly born. By what? By purifying Egyptian mysteries with the new higher teaching of early Christianity. So right here, what I'm showing you is that Rosicrucian has highly inspired Masonry. Rosicrucianists have Aleister Crowley ties, and Rosicrucian is what fashioned basically the Assault Ascent Society, because the founder said that it was it's a body of Rosicrucian order. It's in a Rosicrucian body. And I just give you a rundown of the Rosicrucian body, being that Jehovah, Yahweh is the head of the order. And with that being said, you have the mental conditioning of all three. You got the white Christian King James Bible, fashioned and fathered by the Europeans, given to the nigger. You have the white Jewish Tanakh, who upheld Tanakh, fashioned and fathered by the niggers, followed by the niggers. And then you have the white Egyptologist text, framed, fathered by these Europeans, and you niggas is slaves to these Europeans. Your whole concept and identity of ancient times is fashioned and molded by the Europeans of modern time on all three fashions: the King James Bible, the Jewish Tanakh, and Egyptology. All of y'all in the same boat. Let's not talk about John Newbro ever again when you niggas all got European scholars, authors, publishers that have been upholding what you claim to have been your text for centuries. They remodeled, refashioned, revised, re-identified, came up with their own words, came up with their own definitions, and you took that and created your own illusion of what you think ancient Egypt or what ancient Israel or what the times of Christ was like. And there you have European authorship of Egyptology, and it's not even all the people I named. See that? It's a blood clot vibes. Yes, family, that's a wrap. Give me some vortices, some ones, some vortexes in the chat if you get this understanding, family. You know what I mean? Easy work. Easy work. Easy work. I'm open up the lines for a minute. Anybody want to hop on? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. It's a blood clot vibes. Let's talk about it. Let's run the new rhythm. We're gonna run the new rhythm. Yes, I create a gang vibes in the building. We got the one and only Selah Shalom, Malachi Maccabee just tapped in. Create a gang. But if we run things, run the rhythm.
Land of truth and light, where the spirits dance all night. The creator gang shines bright, guiding us with all their might. Trumpets sound across the sky, as we raise our voices high, praising the one most high, under the OAHSPE's watchful eye. We sing songs of love and grace in this sacred space, for the creator gang we embrace.
Yes, sir, the creator gang we embrace. Where's that big man Malachi Maccabee in the building? Talk to me, King.
Man, over there, doing them folks like that, man. Good night, what?
Yes, sir.
Oh man, that was powerful, man. Especially with that Authorship society. It ain't no getting around that one, big dog. I mean, hell, it's all Rosicrucian. They telling you it's Rosicrucian right on the website.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, bro, no, that was an excellent presentation, bruh, excellent presentation. And then I like how you had it in sequential order and just ran it down. Right. There is no getting around it. We was in the chat clowning everyone you brought up, nigga. We was jonesing, boy. We roasted everybody you brought up. You dig? And for the record, hey, you know what though? I was saying in the chat though, for the record, man. Hey, look, the creator gang don't care nothing about what something look like. The truth can come from a damn cockroach for all we care, as long as it's truth. You know what I mean? The reason we bring this type of stuff out is to level the playground, because everybody gets scared when we bring OAHSPE up and they start bringing up one white man. Right. You dig? But as you see, whether it's from Bible or whether it's
I think he
you tapped out. You tapped out, Mally. You had tapped out, Mally.
Oh, my bad. The whole thing is this. Let's get to the information. Right. Because there ain't no spiritual book you reading today in this earth that a so-called European didn't touch or translate. Facts. You know what I mean? So yeah, bro. Excellent. I'm gonna mute up a little bit. I'm riding with the family right now, but I'm still listening.
Okay,
so,
no
you know
doubt.
What I mean?
No doubt.
Cosmon Cal in the building. What up, Ock?
Hey, man. Hey, just love, light, and balance, man, to the creative gang. Peace to all the righteous gods and Nirvanian goddesses. Another fire bill.
Yes,
listen,
sir. Talk to
y'all
me.
gonna have to bring the spandex god off the porch. He gonna have to come on up off the porch now.
Who's the spandex god for those who may not know? Who's the spandex god for those who may not know?
Oh, Osiris of Egypt, the so-called Osir. You dig what I'm talking about? He gonna have why we call him the spandex god is because he got a onesie on in the Hall of Ma'at picture. You dig what I'm talking about? In that little picture that they got that they always love to show at the Hall of Ma'at, he has a onesie on. You dig
hey, Selah, pull up that Judgment Hall of Ma'at on these cats, man.
You dig what I'm saying? Now look. The thing is, they love to bring up JBN. oh, white man, this white man, he's the white man, he's a Mason. Listen, your whole scientific ideology and religion was just exposed as being sourced from Masonry, aka the white craft itself. This is why we call him the spandex god. He got on a onesie. Yeah, he got a leotard on.
Hey, Annie Green, Cal.
Annie Green. You dig what I'm talking about? He hella dead. If you got a green man, he dead.
Nigga Osiris got gangrene and shit.
In the face.
Hold up. But notice this though. Notice when I was breaking down the Europeans, ain't none of it had nothing to do with ceremonies and ritual practices. All they did was just excavate, discover, transliterate, and translate and publish books. It was when we got to the Rosicrucian order is where we see the mysticism, the shrine, the altar, and all that comes with rites and ceremonies. So if they're following rites and ceremonies, as far as the blackity blacks, that system is not reflecting from ancient Egypt. It's reflecting out of that Rosicrucian order.
Exactly. The whole ideology of Rosicrucianism, founded by Ormus, you dig what I'm saying, around 50 AD. You dig what I'm saying? It is where we get the system through Rosicrucian to the Asset Society, to the modern Hall of Ma'at that's being perpetrated by Jabari himself, to the Shrine of Ma'at.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is the whole way they structure it, run it, call the words, call upon the so-called nectars, is from the same Christians and then from the same Christian God that they sit up here and try to bash on all day. These same Hebrews, these same Jews gave you your Egyptian identity as a whole.
Wow. And notice, them Europeans who was the early Egyptologists, them niggas was fluent in Hebrew. About 3 or 4 of them niggas was fluent in Hebrew.
Fluent.
So that means, what does that mean? That means that the Hebrew was instrumental in deciphering the glyphs.
That's right.
Well, if you think
crazy.
about it, a Selah, if you can for a second, pull up the language tree in the book of Safar. You're gonna find out that Hebrew is a major branch of language that leads back into the ancient sciences. Right? It shows you where it come from, and it shows you that Hebrew is new.
That's right.
Y'all think it's old. It's not. Couple thousand years ain't that long ago.
What's it called again?
The language tree. Tree of languages. Book of Safar.
There you go. All right, I got it.
And then you can watch the maturation of the different languages coming from the different sources of where they at in the world.
So notice at the bottom it starts with Pan.
Mm-hmm.
The Panic language. You come up, and so you see the number 1, and the branch off. China going this way.
That's
branch
China.
off.
Look, it's not birthing nothing else. China been speaking the same thing since it could be written.
Facts. Yeah, they got the closest to the Panic language.
Yeah, they got the most contained of the panic language.
And they got the Yahad, the language with, multiple
This is
words.
of America. Now listen, the Yeehaw language is in both places. Look, you see the Algonquin over there on the top, but it's on the other side.
Yep.
Now look all the way down to the root, right? Of the 4th branch, right? It go Algonquin damn near to the Erba. ancient Arabic, right? They almost similar, but it go from the Yeehaw directly to Algonquin. So Algonquin is but it also says, and if Yeehaw is being spoke by the Vedic and the Sanskrit, how is it still being spoken by the Algonquin people at the same time?
Exactly, yo. Got these niggas, bro.
Right? So when they be talking about that Babel, you dig what I'm talking about? Put it back up there, Selah. It's off the screen. When they be talking about that Babel, well, what language got Babel? And how is these niggas from India speaking the same stuff as these dudes from America? Could it be primarily that the Shemitic language or the nigger language is anciently called Yeehaw? I'm just asking you where you got it from then. Didn't it come from the Indians?
Right.
You didn't even know that was a language. Let's be real.
Mm-hmm. But now though,
so listen, my thing is y'all gonna have to come off the porch and explain your aspects of creation, of nature.
That's what we getting back to. Exactly. I got to come off the porch now, because now if you want to talk about Egyptian cosmology or Egyptian Kemetic science, all that shit, it's coming from a European mind frame.
Right. Show me the niggas in Africa doing the same thing.
Yeah. The whole time I'm explaining this shit, I said, show me the Bantu Negro in the Congo doing any of this during the time that they was doing it. The Bantu Negro, he in Africa. He really out there. When we say it about the Jews, we be, we know Jews ain't no Bantu Negro from the Congo as far as, you know what I mean? But we dealing with ancient Egypt now. We dealing with the Bantu Negro from the Congo, and we see the Bantu Negro from the Congo has nothing to do with shaping the idea of modern Egyptology.
Yeah, but I feel you, Asenel, and that's what they gassed us up to believe, that Nubia supersedes all these cultures, but Nubia was seeded by a people who was more advanced than them. Yeah, they came from Mesopotamia. I'm talking about with the building, with the structures, with the metallurgy, with the language.
And you notice in the argument,
as a matter of fact, the very first depiction of a so-called Egyptian king is the shepherd king from Mesopotamia, found in Egypt, 3500 BC.
Not only that, Bulge and what's his name, and Petries had two opposing views about how who was the ancient Egyptians. And Bulge was standing on business as far as saying that the religion of Osiris was indigenous to African, while Petrie was saying that it was a dynasty race that came in.
Right.
So I'm looking at Petrie's point like, damn, he's basically talking about the motherfucking pre-dynastic Mesopotamians for the most part.
And then you got to think, when we say in Egypt or Kemet, you can't put it the furthest you can put it of Egypt or Kemet being found anywhere is 3100. I say the time frame is 30, 50 for Narmer. You dig what I'm talking about? To put him properly on a calendar.
Like I said, niggas wouldn't even know nothing about Narmer if it wasn't for goddamn a white boy.
Yep.
The Narmer palette. The nigga who discovered it. Let me go to his ass real quick. Yeah, this nigga right here. Look at this. Look at that. James Edward.
Quibble.
There he is.
Mm-hmm.
That Narmer probably still be sitting collecting dust if it wasn't for this guy.
The Narmer palette tell on him.
Exactly.
The Narmer palette tell everything that you need to know that these people are not Hamitic Africans, nor are they from the continent. They are from Mesopotamia. Now, if you go up and you add the Middle East, and I do, as Northern Africa, you did what I'm saying. You could say that these people are in a way African, but you must know the people and understand that these places were conquered by the Persians. Babylon was under Persian rule.
I think that's the argument what Peachy was trying to say. I think he was trying to say that the pre-dynastic Egyptians was a different race, while Budge was trying to say that the indigenous Africans were the he said the followers of
the thing
Messiah.
is, they both right.
Exactly. Case in point.
They both right. The founding of the land of Egypt is the consolidation of two lands. These so-called Egyptian adepts, right, tell you that it was southern and northern Egypt combined to make Kemet or Egypt. Wrong. There was no Egypt. There was no Kemet nowhere in the world, nor was it mentioned before Narmer founded it as a nation all of its own. So what were the two lands that he combined to create ancient Kemet? He combined two lands called Canaan and Nubia. Canaan and Nubia combined makes Egypt. And the proof of that is you would be consolidating your nation, not warring in it. And this is why he's warring against a Persian-looking people. Right? Narmer on the Palin is warring against Persians. Why? At the founding of his country. What, for the same reason he built 30-foot protective walls in Canaan, because his adversary was coming from outside of it. He had just abnegated from his father, right? Y'all know who his father is, right? The great Scorpion 2, huh? But do y'all know what him mama named him? Huh? Y'all better go watch Cosmon reveal pre-dynastic Egypt. Go back and check my old videos. Well, look, right there on the thing, he fighting Persians. Look at the top on the picture, all the way on the right.
Not only that, this nigga discovered the mother and father of Queen Ty.
Come on.
Don't that nigga look like Abraham Lincoln though?
He do. He do.
Yeah, man, what we really dealing with here, man?
Now, the thing is, the understanding, the writing, the actual religion comes later, right? It comes during. See, they don't never get into the periods, right? Exactly. They don't never get into the periods. What type of king was Narmer? They don't know his lineage. He is what is called a Samanian, right? Who took over from the Gerzians, right? Right around 3200, 3150, they start migrating into there from Babylon region, Assyria, Phoenicia. You dig what I'm talking about? Up Iraqish area. Turkey-ish. You dig what I'm talking about? They'll start migrating from there around 3150 at the time of a great drought. At about 3200, 3150 at this time of a great drought. Well, actually, I'll just say a atmospheric event, because this same event circa 3200, 3150 that lasted 300 years, mind the way, that caused this great drought, right? That made the people migrate into the land that would be called Egypt, founding it with the great scorpion one, right? What him mama named him? What's his real name? Where he from? Why, if you are the Egyptian adepts, don't you know your very first founding king? Only in OAHSPE this type of information is being revealed in this day. It's fact.
They light years behind too, bro. I was just sitting up here looking at some of these cats, niggas still debating if Jesus existed. I said, bro, we so light years ahead of this shit. It's like, man, we speaking French to these niggas, man.
You dig what I'm saying? So, you know, they don't really, we the Egyptian adepts. You know more about Egypt than they do.
See, you have Jabari, you got Reggie. Reggie's not spiritual at all. Everything is, you know what I mean, corporeal for him.
Yeah.
Jabari, he did with the spirituality side. So both from a spiritual standpoint, from a physical, non-spiritual standpoint, I still prove the European is behind your goddamn shit.
But then, hold on. He can't have it both ways, because the nigga turned around and I asked him, you know, directly. I said, is Osiris real? He said he's a myth. So you can't say that he you know, is an aspect of nature and he not is real. But then when I asked, was the spiritual man real, you saying, or was the man real? You dig what I'm saying? Now he a myth. He's some made up ideology or something.
But then they're gonna have to.
Ancient people say.
Hey, look though, they're gonna have to show that. Anything they say, they're gonna have to show in ancient Egypt to say we tripping. We see Osiris sitting on the throne. You tell me Osiris, it represents vegetation and greenery. How does vegetation and greenery sit on the throne? How is that represented in nature? Show me the glyphs and the hieroglyphs, the pyramid text. You getting that from? And then I'm going to say, well, that was source for that European, since y'all stuck on blackity black.
Right.
The European framed your concept of Nut Geb, the concept of creation.
Well, it makes sense now that you understand that the paleface gave you your whole ideology. It makes sense why he is now trying to convince you that Mother Earth is somehow your father. Mother Earth is a man somehow. They're trying to convince you of that. Let that sink in. Geb, Newton Geb, is the sky and the earth. Geb is a male, the earth. Everybody know it's Mother Earth.
Right.
That ain't even no debate.
Right.
It's Mother Earth. You dig what I'm saying? She is female, the negative. You dig what I'm saying? So how it makes sense, you know, coming from, you know, in many parts of backwards people, right? That this ideology is being pushed forth, but they not even questioning it. That's the sickening part. But we ain't black if we don't roll with Egypt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Shit, by the time you get to the black Egyptologists who's trying to tell us about our ancient African ancestry, shit, the ideology has been framed already. It's already been constructed. All you doing is just piggybacking off with the white boy telling y'all and saying it's ours, which in return, that's actual fact. It is ours. But your idea of saying Ma'at, 42 negative confessions, all that came from them.
The Pert Him Heru.
They gave
all that. The Merneptah Stella, the
funeral
everything literally that comes out of Egypt was given to you by a white boy, and then your master teachers sucked it up from them, blackified it, and regurgitated it and repackaged it to you.
Exactly.
And now you think that falsity that was given to you through Rosicrucianism and Masonry is still gonna stand in the Cosmine era. You got another thing coming. I'm gonna bang on your God.
Because think about it. Why would you call your association a shrine? Shrines are associated with
Shriners.
Orders. Yeah, Shriners, and that's associated with Masonic orders, Rosicrucian orders. We just showed you that. So it's like, then the altar is to offer up to the ancestors. You know what I mean? So it's like at least Jabari's shown he's dealing with spirituality. But who are you offering to? I know he's offering to the ancestors, but you know.
No, he offering the shoe.
Hey man, show that video, man. And then show at the end where he mentions he got it from Baba Haru.
And then my thing is, how are you trying to uphold Ma'at when your own God couldn't uphold Ma'at?
Cal, you already know, man.
Your own God couldn't uphold Ma'at.
Hey, you know what I was thinking about, y'all? This is what I was thinking about. What's the darkest Bantu nigga image of Osiris that's out there? Like, what's the phenotype? You feel me? It's the phenotype of a Bantu Negro. And what time period does it come from?
Let me see. It's new,
because look, I done seen an Asian Osiris sitting on the throne.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And you know OAHSPE called Osiris. His real name is Chilemon.
Listen, I'm looking at the images right now.
Yeah, like what's the darkest? Like not. I don't even want to say darkest. What's the Negro phenotype? Like what Osiris image shows the Negro phenotype? And if we find it, I want to know what time period is it from.
This definitely ain't no nigga.
Yeah, they ain't really got no depiction.
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on.
Being green.
Because I mean, for everybody to be on some blackity black, you feel me? Surely there's an image of Osiris with some bull nostrils and some full lips and some nappy hair.
Hold on, I was sharing my screen with
surely it gotta be somewhere for everybody to be, in admiration and falling out with this nigga. like where's the Bantu Negro image of Osiris?
That's Osiris. That's Chilemon. Do he look like Umbutu? Let me see if I can zoom in some more. Hold on.
You can just use your finger and open up. Like, yeah, there you go. Or okay, that's just doing like that. Yeah, like that shit was made from the Ptolemy era. That's like some Ptolemy shit right there.
Hold on, let me go back in real quick.
Like a little Ptolemy influence on that picture right there and shit.
Right, which would be during the Greek period. You know what I mean?
Right, that'll be the third century BC.
I mean, the oldest image of Osiris go back to what time period? And if so, is that an image of a Negro?
Hold on. Here go
bull
one.
nostrils, nappy hair, full lips.
Here go one. Here go one. He shall. I don't know. He don't look extra niggery to me. Hold on. Let me see. Look at this.
And then after that, I want to see his family. Let's see Horus and Isis. You know what I mean?
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Him named Chilemon. Do he look like Umbutu?
Man, that nigga like he high.
Look more like Chilemon.
Yeah, he look like Tucker Chin.
Chow Young Fat.
Y'all niggas clowning.
That nigga, hey, you could tell me anything, but that ain't no Bantu nigga from the Congo. That's what he ain't. Hold on, let me see if I can find.
Hey, look at that. Look at this. Look what it say right here. That's crazy. Look what it say. Hold up. Watch this. I'm about to saw. That's why time period is important. Look what it say right here. Move, nigga. What the fuck? All right, look. I put what was the oldest known depiction of Osiris? The oldest known depiction of Osiris dates to about 2300 BCE, but representation of him are rare before the New Kingdom.
Yep. Because you a brand new God. You ain't represented nowhere before.
But look how we talking about the New Kingdom. I showed you in the presentation the white boy who gave us the term Old, Middle, and New Kingdom. So we can't even talk about Egypt, anything, without having to use what the white boys gave us.
Right. This is the pyramid text, the text of Unas. Now they say him mama named him Chilemon. Do that look like Ubuntu? Or do that look like Chilemon?
Put up a Bantu.
And then we got to see when this was even made. This might not even be old.
That's what I'm saying. You got to check the time period. That's the first thing I look for, the time period. That'll let me know. Because whatever time period is on, it's going to show the influence of the people. You see some white pictures of Jesus, nigga, you know it's Rome and Europe.
Hey, man, but you see how it's a challenge to try to pull up an Osiris who has the same phenotype as the ones that's identified as ancient Cometians today.
Facts. Now,
It's
I'm
a challenge. You gotta do some digging to find something.
Look at the picture. I'm gonna put up a minute at the fourth. I'm in the third. That nigga like a Bantu nigga from the Congo. Watch. Let me show.
Let me see what Nephthys look like. I'm trying to see.
So many choices on Cooking.com, and there's so many YouTube ways I could be. So I hired bodybuilders.
I see all this CGI work.
Look at this picture of a minute at the fourth. I mean, a minute at the third.
Minute at the third, a nigga.
Right, exactly. Look at that. See that face right there?
Yeah, that's a nigga.
See them cheekbones?
That looks like Ubuntu.
Now you see how easy that was for you to pull that up? Osiris did. Or sorry.
I'm telling you, he only mentioned in the fifth dynasty. He mentioned on the walls. Ain't no pictures of him or nothing. That come much later.
Look at this nigga. That's like a straight nigga right there.
That's a Menahet.
Yeah, that's a minute at the third. That's Moses' them daddy.
That's Moses' daddy.
Him daddy.
Him downstairs said, I can't be the prince. him said, I can't be the king no more.
Well, you know this a nigga right here, boy. That look like Ubuntu.
Mm-hmm. That's Ubuntu, nigga.
And that should say head of a minute at the third.
Yeah.
That's a nigga. That's a Bantu nigga from the Congo right there.
You can tell them cheekbones.
Now watch when we put him a minute at the fourth, how the features change, how it look different.
Look how round his face is. That top.
Look at Moses.
That's that young Moses right there.
Look at Moses.
That's young Moses right there.
Come on, bro. That don't look like the same nigga we just looked at. That nigga look Asiatic. That look Asiatic.
Well, you gotta understand. By this time, Amenemhat III would have been damn near, even though he would have been of genetic stock of the people that go on to produce the Israelites. Because remember, he a shepherd king. Amenemhat III is a shepherd king. He a Hyksos. So he would have had some of the same blood in him, but they had been mixing in with the Egyptian for thousands of years. You dig what I'm talking about? By Moses' time, it been mixing for 2,400 years. You dig what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So they would have been, he would have been, for all accounts, Hamitic African, right? But Moses would have been a Persian, a Negro, aka an Israelite, a whole different people. And now remember, even in the Bible, even OAHSPE don't explain this, but it admits it, that even when Sobek Nefru, aka Latonis, she just seen Moses. Nobody came in there and spoke for Moses or nothing. He was a little baby, you know what I mean, a couple days old or whatever. Soon as she seen him, she knew he was an Israelite baby.
Yeah, that's some shit right there.
You dig what I'm talking about? Even in the Bible, right? It say that she knew that when she picked him up out the baskets of reeds, that it was an Israelite, a Hebrew baby. How did she know?
Exactly.
There's something going on now. And then I thought for a minute it might be just circumcision, right? But then I do my homework on it. The Egyptians practice circumcision too. Now you got to ask, where did they get that from? It makes sense when you understand that Israel been there 2,400 years in between the time of Abram and Moses. That's 2,400. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
So
that's what I'm saying, bro. This shit, niggas don't have to come off the porch now because it's like, you know, you want that 4-man debate. I know somebody gonna send this video to Sonetta to take a review of it. And this ain't even a debate topic. This is just putting the icing on the cake, showing you that Europeans authorized y'all shit too. Since y'all so stuck of us, mad at us for reading the OAHSPE,
right?
We just level all the playing grounds now.
Right.
You know, like you say, you got to hop off the porch with that kinetic science. Now, if you use Gab, if you use any philosophy, if you use any literature, your science is framed and fashioned enough to shoulder them Europeans who gave it to you.
Right.
At least with the OAHSPE, it's giving us external sources to reference. So we're not saying that this comes from John Blau Nubro. We're showing you elements in nature that the book is referencing for us to identify objectively with, so we could put the book behind and now explain nature based off the information of what.
The difference is in our white boys compared to they white boys is my white boy don't claim he wrote nothing. That's the dope part about OAHSPE. If he was just this megalomaniac making up stuff out here just willy-nilly, he'd have took credit for it.
Right. Yeah.
But once you read OAHSPE, you learn very quickly, ain't no man have known this.
Oh, yeah. That's actual facts. That's what I'm saying. The niggas gonna be tight now because it's like shit now.
You got to come off the porch. Listen,
I just gonna ignore it.
I just jumped your God and took his lunch money.
Nah, you know what we did? We just took the same way we did with the Hebrews. We took their identity away. Yep. Your identity of being a black Jew came from the European Jews, the customs and cultures they gave you. Your concept of Egypt today is framed and fashioned off these Europeans. And the rituals and ceremonies you practice comes out the Rosicrucian.
Come from the people you hate the most, the Hebrews.
And then the Rosicrucian temple of the rosy red or the rose red cross, the top of the temple got the tetragrammaton. The They got Yahweh up there. The head of the Rosicrucian temple of the rosy red is Yahweh.
This the guy who gave Baba Haru his ideology. Same people that gave Ra'um Nefer his ideology. It's the people you hating on the most.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Y'all got the shrine. I showed you the goddamn, what is that though? Order of Arabic, ancient order of Arabic mystic shrines. And then the white boy from Chicago, the highest ranking Mason in the United States, created the ancient Egyptian Arabic order of mystic shrines. So the concept of the shrines is coming from these orders. You know what I mean? So it's like these orders of the shrine ain't coming. It's not reflecting Egypt. It's reflecting more on the Rosicrucian side. And then you had Aleister Crowley tied into the shit. Then you got Jewish mysticism and Kabbalah tied into it. They done created their own Kemetic tree of life using copycatting off the Kabbalistic or the Jewish mysticism. All they did was just change the names of the Hebrews and put Kemetic names on it.
And then based it in Masonry.
Facts. Exactly.
My thing is Masonry existed before Egypt. The White Pyramid of Sumer existed 1,300 years before they ever built the Step Pyramid of Saqqara. So we know for a fact, at least 1,000 years before there was anything called Egypt or Kemet, we already had massive structures in Mesopotamia, in Persia, and farther west. You had the Harappian Society. That 6,500 was already
possible. But keeping it to where they at historically within 15th, 16th, 17th century time, because that's what really fashioned what they following today from that Rosicrucian order from the mid 15th, 16th century coming on down or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like
basically New Kingdom work. I mean, even though we got Osar attested to in the pyramid text, he's just being attested to, and he would still be a baby in 2375 BC. That's what you can't get past. He an infant, a child, right? Weak. As a matter of fact, he's a dead man. Right? No wonder your whole everything failed. Greece came through, smashed you. The Assyrians came through, smashed you. The Medes came through, smashed you. The Persians came through, smashed you. The Greeks, the Romans, the Arabs, everybody came through and got their piece of Africa. Now they got it all chopped up. Right?
Yeah.
And they are feeding you your own ideology. Let that thing
exactly. Yep. That's exactly what they're doing.
They feed
that's what they got to contend with. They got to contend with, like, with us. It's like you got to contend with, like, the ideology now. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna question our ideology, but when we question y'all, it's like y'all shit worse. We coming out of one book, one author, according to them, John Blanubro. But then when we touch on y'all shit, it's gonna be a collective body of motherfuckers we gonna run through. By the time we say you know what I mean? We got too much to play with over here when it comes to the authorship shit or the Europeans playing with the text. But at the end of the day, man, I just wanted to show and prove that, you know what I'm saying? That, you know what I mean? European authorship.
Yeah. Hey, that was fire. Hey, that was fire too, bro. Y'all got to come off the porch, Kimmy. Y'all gonna tie him in, and then, hey, I would just go ahead and do this on Sinetta. They gonna have to come on out the house. You think what I'm talking about? Right. Hey, I gotta go pick up the wifey, man. Hey, love, life, balance out there, man. Peace to the created gang. All the righteous gods and Nirvanian goddesses, man. Another fire, BOC law. Hey, breathe in, let that light in. Cosmon, and I'm out. Peace,
To the
bro.
righteous God. Peace to the righteous God, Cosmo and Cal coming through, dropping his knowledge. You know how he do. You know how we do. Malachi Maccabee came through, dropped his joint. You know how we do. Yeah, you know what I mean? So I wanted to hit y'all with that presentation, European authorship of Egyptology. I showed and proved how the Europeans discovered, translated, published, authorized everything you know about Egypt today for the most part. Fashion your idea of Egypt. You know what I mean? Wanted to show that. So, yeah, we on the next of the Kemetic cats. We ran through the Hebrews. That was easy work. And this may even be easier work. And with that, your boy Selah Shalom is out of here. Until next time, we're going to ride out to the new music with the Creator Gang. Let's run it from the top, family. Yes, and we out of here.
In the land of truth and light, where the spirits dance all night, the Creator Gang shines bright, guiding us with all their might. Trumpets sound across the sky as we raise our voices high, praising the one most high under the OAHSPE's watchful eye. We sing songs of love and grace in this sacred space. For the Creator Gang we embrace, their wisdom we chase, with trumpets playing in tune under the silvery moon. We dance until the morning sun, this connection never undone. Harmony in every beat, our faith is concrete. Through the pages of the OAHSPE, ancient wisdom on display, teaching us the righteous way, leading us to a brighter day. With each trumpet blast, we're reminded of the past and the love that will ever last in this divine contrast. United in spirit, we uplift and hear it. We sing songs of love and grace in this sacred space. For the Creator Gang we embrace, their wisdom we chase, with trumpets playing in tune under the silvery moon. We dance until the morning sun, this connection never undone. We sing songs of love and grace in this sacred space. For the Creator Gang we embrace, their wisdom we chase, with trumpets playing in tune under the silvery moon. We dance until the morning sun, this connection never undone.
Bittersweet Herbals, where the taste is bitter, but the results are sweet. BittersweetHerbals.com. Bittersweet Herbals, where the taste is bitter, but the results are sweet. Bittersweet Herbals.